This is tough scene Cleveland, dude.
And now, Tough Scene Cleveland, starring Nick Wolff.
I am the Prince of Parma. I'm drinking right now, DefJeff. This is not moron talk hour.
DefJeff.
I remember jamming with that guy when I was probably 15. Oh, no, I'm still waiting outside.
Don't trust DefJeff at all.
And the best entertainment in Cleveland.
What's this about you? You cranking off a dude?
Jake the Snake at this point starts running Detroit Road.
It isn't punk rock, you know, the best parts of butch gay culture.
Man, I want to be a good person here. Like, stop it.
He actually came out with this new t-shirt design for people that fuck up their life like Nick Wolff did.
Alright, Tough Scene Cleveland, here we are. Nick Wolff, DefJeff,
Yo.
Jeremy Shear.
Hi there.
I changed it up that time. I didn't want DefJeff to feel bad. Always giving him third billing.
Third set.
As long as I'm first, that's all that matters. Jeremy Shear is going to take your lumps.
I don't want to be third mic.
How you doing today, buddy? Last show, which, episode 7. This is episode 8. We're getting closer to the end of the season, closer to the Night of Icons, which is what tonight's episode is all about. We'll get to that in a minute. Last time we talked to you, though, you were leaving. You went out to go do Teams in Berea.
Yeah.
How did that turn out?
It was one of the best shows I've ever done, surprisingly enough. Teams was hip, because it was billed as the Unsuitable Language show, and they got unsuitable language with a few of the darkest comics in Cleveland.
Yeah, who was the girl that just came on and offended everybody?
Oh, that was my friend Kristen Galewood. She has a very Antichrist bent to her set, and they were not having that. But everything else she talked about was great.
There's something sexy about women and Antichrist beliefs. Just Satan worship and women go hand in hand real well. I love all the goth chicks on my Facebook feed.
Kristen
You're
is
not
anything...
fat, beautiful. Just get it in that corset, you'll look good.
Kristen is anything but goth. She's like some hippie vegetarian chick that somehow found her way into comedy, and I've been hitting on her for years, and actually probably driven her away from comedy with my constant sexual abuse.
She's gonna retire just to get away from Jeremy Shear.
Yeah, pretty much. But she is in my sketch group, and that's what this was. It was my sketch group doing their individual stand-up sets, and it went great. My buddy John Wellington, the co-founder of the Cleveland Comedy Festival, headlined. Mary Santora was her bar that we were doing this at, and she ended up featuring and murdered it. Everybody.
So are they going to do more of this here at Teams in Berea?
They're going to make it a monthly, and it's there's going to be minor variations to the lineup. It's probably just going to be a different one of us headlining every month, but it's going to be the same people there every month, which is going to challenge some of the newer guys to write. I've got an hour and a half of material, so I mean, I can, go back and do a different set, but...
Jeremy Shear scores one more for comedy in the city. One less place that will never have to stoop so low as to book bands because they have comedy going good for them. We were left with Chris Clem here, and it's been a rough week for me with the holidays and stuff. I go to the gigantic compound of Ohio Center for Broadcasting to edit the stuff for free on their first-class equipment, and... I get into the one day, and I'm working on the episode, and I leave for a minute to go take a crap while it's mastering. And because, I can't sit there forever. I'm trying to multitask and get things done. And this fat bitch is sitting in my chair on my jacket, and I come walking in, I'm like, I was just working here. She's like, oh, I didn't know nobody was working here. I'm not giving any aspersions to what race she might be. Don't read into my accent too much, okay?
I wish I still had saved your voicemail from it.
Yeah, it could be a hillbilly. It could be another race or whatever. She's like, I know. I'm like, well, my jacket's here, all my stuff's here. You pulled my stuff out. Like, can't you save the desktop? Were you supposed to save it? Yeah, well, I couldn't save it because it was mixing down. Were you supposed to save it? Okay, that's great. We've established the fact that in most cases, I'm supposed to save it. But what you're not understanding is, I couldn't save it. Were you supposed... And I'm just like, obviously, there's going to be no back and forth here at all with you. You're stuck to your point. You're trenched in, and I'm just going to lose. So I walked away quietly. She ended up swiping my damn phone charger, unbeknownst to me. So I kind of was afraid to go back up at school because they had enough of me. I can only go there so much because I don't just go in quietly and do my work and leave.
Did you get your jacket back?
I got my jacket, yeah, and it smelled really bad. It smelled like Fritos and friggin' cotton candy for a month.
Cool. Handicap pop prices.
Nobody got time for that.
Because she's a woman and women like cool cigarettes. I didn't say what race she might be.
Well, I mean, that's what they smoke in jail now, regardless of race.
So we'll get that episode up. Chris Clem was great. Jeremy, thank you for all putting everything together with comedians.
Anytime, man. I'm happy to have funny people in here for you.
So we're through. We're still alive. The world didn't blow up. Stupid man's.
Curses.
My calendar ends every year, and I just have to get a new Marvel Comics superheroes or WWE 80s classics calendar. Once you see Dino Bravo, you know it's time to flip over. Coco Beware's February. But,
of course
Dino Bravo post-murder.
I'm shocked that Saba Simba is in February.
So, sure, you do celebrate Christmas.
No.
And in here with us already, I guess I'll start promote the rest of the show that we're doing here. This is basically a preview for January 22nd, a Night of Icons. We have some of the people in here, obviously myself, DefJeff, and Jeremy Shear, but also the band, most of the band, Fuck You Pay Me. So they're in here, Tony Erba, Steve Callahan, Aaron Dowell. And then also in here is Eric Kinczel, right?
Yes, correct.
And he's a big wrestling fan. You did some commentating with Tony, right?
Yes, sir, we did.
You said you're a ball buster and a shit talker, so we're like, hey, man, come on. This is a perfect place.
I love wrestling.
He's the poor man's Jon Stewart.
He's the very poor man.
So you're not Jewish then?
No.
Okay.
Very not Jewish.
He's the Metal Hesher left-wing Grover Nordquist.
Yes, I demand tax increases.
Well, we're definitely going to talk about that a little bit with obviously the insanity that's going on. More trouble happens when the Republicans and Democrats actually compromise on something. Shit, I liked it better when they were trying to kill each other 2 months ago. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Jeremy Shear, though, you don't celebrate Christmas.
No.
So it meant nothing to you.
No, absolutely nothing. The only thing that happened is I got to feed my mother eggs. And if you want to picture...
Is that a Jewish thing? Like a Christmas you feed your mother eggs?
No, it's just the only time we're able to get her out of the nursing home is Christmas. Right. So it got her over the house. And if you know that scene from Clockwork Orange where Alex is in the hospital and can't move, and he's going... That's exactly what it is with my mother, except she doesn't recognize me.
Right.
So she only recognizes me when I shave my head, and quite frankly, as a Jewish man, it's very difficult for me to do that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for bringing the show down.
Anytime. I'm very happy to do that. That's actually what I specialize, bringing the show to a screeching halt.
Maybe you guys had Jesus Christ in your life. Things would be a little bit better.
You. I just prefer alone.
Yeah. She thought it was some hobo feeding her breakfast.
One more quick thing. If you want to check it out on Facebook, the zine is called Punk Rock is Dead and We Don't Care. It's a guy, Sam Sinister, who I know, who's going to start doing a little feature for us here soon. But I did an article with him, so if you want to check that out on Facebook, go to Rock and Roll is Dead and We Don't Care. We talk about Chef Boyardee's grave and other Parma mysteries. But check that article out if you want to find out more about that. We're going to take a quick break here. Then we're going to come in. We got some stuff here to talk about. Scene Magazine named their 13 bands to watch. Fuck You Pay Me was not on it, but that's only because you guys haven't played a show yet. Give it time. Neither was Zitsquatch. but I'm thinking next year they're definitely going to be on it, but we'll talk about that a little bit. And obviously, before we go, January 22nd, Night of Icons at Now That's Class. It's our first show. It's going to be the podcast of the three of us. Going to do a podcast. Then we have comedians. Let me see if I got it all. Dr. Andy Meredith. Yep. T.M. Francis.
Yep.
John Hoffner, Dan Brown, and possibly Jesse Allison.
Possibly Jesse Allison. If Jesse hasn't run away, he will be there.
Enigmatic Jesse Allison may or may not be there. This is going to be our last show before that show, so listen to this, share this, tell all your friends about it. Get their asses in the seats. Asses to elbows is what we want at January 22nd, Night of Icons, and also the great bands, the Dead Enders will be playing. You know them. If you listen to this show, you've heard CJ a million times. Probably too much. I apologize for that. Also, Zitsquatch. It'll be the first show that Steve Eggs and Poopy from bands like Sockeye and Dr. Bitch. So who knows what that's going to be, but it's going to be great. I know that. And then Fuck You Pay Me. It'll be your guys' first show, and we'll talk to you in a little bit about that. Tough Scene Cleveland. We'll be back in a minute. DIY Radio. Tough Scene Cleveland. Tough Scene Cleveland. We are back. Nick Wolff. Jeremy Shearer.
Hi there.
DefJeff. You lost your second chair status right away.
Right. Negotiations with my attorney proved very fruitful.
Yeah, you know, you can't mess with it.
Brother.
One phone call, the damn Jew got his lawyer friends, and they're bringing down the Jewish heat on us, so you get your second mic back, Jerry.
Better be.
So there's some big things going on. First thing, it's more of a kind of local thing. The Cleveland Browns coach thing, everyone's going crazy about that. You know, everyone's got their feeling of who's going to turn our team around. Some people think it's going to be Nick Saban. Michael Simon wants Chip Kelly to come here. Oregon coach Chip Kelly. He's offering to cook for him. I don't know if it's specific, like he's just going to cook for him. Michael Simon's got to calm down. You know, I love what he does for this city, and I think his restaurants are all first class, whether it comes to just fast food, B-Spot, or, you know, Lolita, all the stuff he does. But who does he have what gives him the right to, obstruct the future of Cleveland with his delicious entrees? And maybe we don't want Chip Kelly, okay? Maybe I don't care if Chip Kelly likes bacon, because if the guy likes pork at all, we're going to get him, because shit, you can have Simon there every night. Anything you can do with a pig, if you're into that. Hopefully Chip Kelly's a vegetarian. We'll have no fucking use for Simon at all. Here's a turnip, Michael. Do something with this, asshole. Really, you make pig good? The most delicious food? Well, you can work with bacon? You're a fucking genius. Here's some fucking star fruit. What are you going to do with this, Simon? You dickhead.
I sense some resentment.
No, I actually love Michael Simon. I worked with Michael Simon for a little while, and I got to say, he was an awesome dude to work with. He was actually really cool. I love the talk shit. I know, Space Dog outside is... gotta go let him order for a while.
Space Dog perceived a threat.
Yeah, I set the Space Dog alarm off.
I don't know that it was necessary to have bacon-encrusted pork at Michael Simon's restaurant, which I did the other night.
It's
literally
delicious,
pig
though.
wrapped in pig.
You better slow down, Tony. Did you learn anything?
No.
You get out of heart surgery. I see you a week later at the Jigsaw eating a friggin' saloon burger. Oh, that's why the dog was barking. Steve Eggs just came in the studio here. Sit down somewhere, Steve.
Hopefully not on my lap.
Yeah,
such a thing as a vegetarian football coach.
Well, that's true.
Is that like a Sasquatch?
I don't know. Like, I would think, you know, Pete Carroll might be. Really?
I knew you
Come
were
on.
busy. I called to tell you.
In other sports news, John Smiley is just about ready to make his comeback this spring. For the Indians. However, Steve Owen.
Steve Owen. Tim Cruz
for assignment.
This is breaking news.
Tim Cruz is going to be his. They're only going to transport him by boat.
Pablo Hita's going to be driving. And then Thurman Munson is flying.
For those of you that don't live in Cleveland, a bunch of our players of the Indians died tragically on a boat accident 20 years ago. We've been laughing about it ever since. We find it hysterical on this city.
I say, fuck it. We lost a submariner and a nobody.
For comment?
We'll have about that, but someone said something bad about Bernie 30 years ago. We want to blacklist poor Mike Lombardi forever. Our priorities are way fucked up here. But, I don't even remember. So, Michael Simon, shut the hell up. Cook something impressive. Dog. Make something good out of dog, and then we'll fucking think you're great. But until then, you're going to have to go on. Go do another stupid morning show that fails after 3 episodes.
Did you eat it, though?
What? Dog, if he made it, yeah, because it'd be delicious, dude. He'd have bacon on there.
Really upset.
I got tricked into eating dog in Japan. It was literally something on a stick that had fucking claws and a head and a tail.
If you don't know what it is when you're in Japan,
you didn't know it was
probably dog.
Yeah.
Or a dick.
So you had a head, you didn't know it was a dog head? Like...
No, it was a spear of wood through the a-hole and out the mouth on a spit. And we were on like some mist-enshrouded mountaintop somewhere in Hokkaido, Japan. And there was nothing to eat, and Steve Pepper got one. And he's like, come on, man, you know, are you ever gonna broaden your horizons? We can't go to fucking Wendy's and everything. And when we're in old Japan now. We're in like ancient Japan. So you're gonna have to make do. I'm like, all right, fine.
Fuck Anthony Bourdain, no reservations with Tony Erba.
So we're eating fucking dog on a stick, and we're trying to convince each other, like, this is we've been hoodwinked all these years. We need to open our horizons, and then like within a half hour, we're like, Dude, I don't feel that good.
Yeah.
I'm turning green, brother. I just ate dog.
Did you know it was visibly anus, though? Like, the bite on the stick, when you get to the end of it, and you get to the anus, do you leave it like the end of a corn dog or a fudgesicle? Or do you just...
that hard part.
Or that last onion on a shish kebab?
I try to avoid the rectum and eat around the spine.
I would think that'd be where the most tender meat is. You have the muscle around the rectum.
I picture it being slimy.
Really? Dog anus?
Dog anus to be a little slimy.
I mean,
there are a lot of glands there. You're
We're all
right.
adults here. I mean, I'm a free thinker. I've eaten assholes before. It tastes like wheat things.
We're not a bunch of prudes here.
Well, I mean, when you eat an asshole, you get somebody to buy you dinner most of the time.
Yeah, generally.
A better dinner than asshole.
Either that or I find it through Red Pages.
What is the proper meal for asshole eating? Is that a Red Lobster qualifying? And, like, when you eat an asshole, what kind of dinner are you expecting, Jeremy Shear?
Steve's lunch.
All right.
And the sad thing is, that's not the worst thing that happened on your trip to Japan. Because you went to a bathhouse with Jim Kanye.
Oh, is that with your trip? Okay, now I heard about this. You guys went to Japan, and I heard, like, if we think he's an asshole in America, the Japanese really think he's an asshole. Because he just has no obedience for, like, normals. Like, taking your shoes off, he wouldn't do that, right?
No, Jim is all about taking off his shoes. Totally.
All right,
Jim
well, in
would probably
America,
be the most
though.
nice, polite guy.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Tony was with him. Look at Steve Eggs. Steve, he plays one show with Schnauzer, and now he's on the Jim Kanye bandwagon.
No.
Now it's lovey-dovey.
Whenever I used to go to Jim's house, it was shoes off instantly, all the time.
Except
when
that
back in the day.
Yeah, at his house.
At his house, right. No, he'd come over to my house and go rifle through my record.
Right. See, now there you go.
Right.
Well, he one thing he would like to do is, you know, the portions are somewhat smaller because the average height is 4 foot nothing there, you know. So we'd get our food, and then he would order 3 of everything, and you know, and the band we were with, we kind of bust his balls a bit, like, oh, you hungry tiger? And he'd be like, fuck yeah, I'm hungry tiger. You gonna eat that? You know, like, fucking grabbing their food too.
What did he do if they don't have Napoleon's pizza?
He just pulled a China shop.
No, Jim was a big eater, man. He'd come over for spaghetti or something, like mountain, and be like, go back for seconds and all the time.
Finish that dog hop.
Yeah, if you give
the one funny thing that he did do, which he totally had my back on this. We were driving, and the fucking one of the driver we toured in these 2 Toyota minivans, and he had it in like 3rd gear instead of drive, and we could feel the fucking floor getting hot, like the transmission's burning up. I'm like, dude, I think you got I put it in drive. He's like, oh no, do not worry, you just go back to sleep, I've got that, you know. And Connie's like, fuck that, dude. And he reaches over, grabs a gear shift, and slams it into drive, and he's like, no, it's done.
So, yeah, don't go overseas with Jim Kanye or anyone in the band Schnauzer. Steve Eggs wouldn't be.
Well,
Steve, would you even go overseas? You would never not in Canada, right?
No. First of all, I don't know the language, and I don't know how to talk to people.
You don't know language here.
That's great. You don't have to fucking deal with adoring
Right,
fans.
that's what I'm saying. I don't understand the money system. I would be confused there. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know how to talk to people. I don't understand money.
You have
Why
no
would
money
I want
here. You have no money there.
I wouldn't want to go to no. Like
there's something called a debit card. I don't know.
I never want to.
It means one of 2 things: blow me for money, or
I don't want to be confused with money and eating food and having to eat dog anus and you know.
That wouldn't happen. You don't even eat a cheeseburger. Right. You would never get tricked into eating dog anus.
No, right. No, I wouldn't. You know, I just don't want to be able to not be able to talk to people, not understand the money, not understand
don't worry,
where I'm
Steve.
going. I don't know how to drive on that side of the car. I'd be fucked. I'd be pissed.
You don't have to leave this country.
See, when you're a real globe-trotting, wheeling, dealing, kiss-stealing son of a bitch like me, you have people drive for you. You have handlers. It's like Shomer Shabbos. I don't operate machinery. I don't handle money. I sure as fuck don't drive the van.
So, but don't worry, we don't have to leave this country.
I know. And then that too, be a dumb American in some other country. No, don't want that.
It's okay. We can all be happy in our own country because
I'm already dumb here. I don't want to be dumb over there too.
Our politicians have made things better, though, here in America for you and all of us, Steve Eggs. They've agreed to a deal. We are saved from falling off the fiscal cliff, for now, at least. Yeah, I know, Steve, you got some real development. You can just step away from the mic for the next 5 minutes because you got nothing to say.
I heard it was going to get pretty bad with that shit. There was good news on that story?
Yeah, actually, the Republicans here, I have a list of things.
I've been clean.
They came to
with this finger on the pulse of American politics.
No. He has the finger on his browser, tune to the Huffington Post.
Yes. AP, I'm going to the AP right now.
AP, what? This is a brand new day for Tough Scene Cleveland.
We were worried that there were going to be gigantic cuts on everything. Basically, there was a deadline that Congress set for itself, and we didn't meet it. There were going to be forced cuts all along the line, and we were so terrified about this until there's an agreement. Now everyone's saying that we should have let it happen, that us not falling off the fiscal cliff was the worst thing to happen because they didn't make enough cuts to our spending. There's a lot of... Basically, it seems like the Democrats went for what they wanted and really let the Republic... Like, they both decided to agree on stupid shit. Like, instead of coming to a middle ground on things that we needed, like, well, I really want people in Puerto Rico to get taxed on rum rebates. Okay, we'll give you that. But we want gay people to get $500 every time, whatever it is, whatever fruity thing the Republicans want. But also, it seems like in their compromise, we might be screwed later down the line. Social Security is getting messed with a little bit. The super rich are getting taxed, but they wanted it. It's only if you make like $500,000 or more. They wanted to be like
$400,000.
400.
I believe that works out to something like $7,600 a week, and if I made that in 2 months, I'd be pretty fucking happy about it.
Right.
So, the poor saps pulling $7,600 a week are safe. Everybody else after that is getting a 4% tax increase until you get up into the millions and billions. Then you kind of get it in the ass. But they know how to work around that stuff.
Right, and there's some more. You kind of do need to do that. I mean, let's be honest. I obviously, the people that make a lot of money deserve to have their money. They contribute to the economy in ways that we can and stuff like that. You can't completely screw them. But there comes a point where we need a little. They need to make some concessions, but at the same time, it can't. They're not going to buy it when we're just funneling it all into stupid shit that they don't believe in the first place. And a lot of these tax cuts that were brought up. I'm going to go through them real quick. We're not too much of a political show here, but there's a couple things that they're doing. Let's see. There's going to be a tax credit for research and development benefiting industries, manufacturers, pharmaceutical companies, high-tech companies.
Oh, just what we need, more tax cuts for pharmaceutical companies. Fuck them.
Right, exactly. An exemption allows banks and insurance companies and other financial firms to shield from foreign profits from being taxed. So there's a Republican concession, like, all right, do all your outside, firms that destroy these businesses that you put your money in, all like Mitt Romney and Bain Industrial and all that. So the Republicans let them have that one. Profit. It's like completely give and take if you go through that list. So there's the Republican one. The next one is a tax credit for production of wind, solar, and other renewable energy, which is a Democrat ticket. It's like they just kind of split. Instead of meeting on like things like Medicare and Social Security and a budget as far as spending and stuff, kind of just let each other off on like ridiculous things to make each other happy. And I don't know. This is. Bro, is it ever going to be good? Is it ever going to be like, in the 80s we thought it was sucky even though it was great. We look back now. There's always time where you're bitching. Is it ever that bad? Eric, I saw you...
what they've done here is they've kind of nibbled around the edges on budget cuts because nobody wants to be the guy who cut grandma's pension, their Social Security, their Medicare, these other things, these left-wing sacred cows. On the other hand, the Republicans don't want to be the guys to have the finger pointed at them if this stuff does occur.
Right. Well, I think they look better for it because I think a lot of they can do their favorite move and then just blame it on Obama. Like Obama passed the bill,
but he doesn't pass the bill. He only signs the stuff. Yeah, there's a fundamental difference. If people don't understand,
but they don't need that. The Republicans won't blame him for any.
I even to this day, it just blows my mind that most of the people who call C-SPAN or decide to comment at the bottom of news could never pass an 8th grade civics exam because they're just dumb or they don't think
they watch Fox News and MSNBC.
Right. Or those people that write comments at the bottom they can't pass the 8th grade thing because in 3rd grade or 4th grade. Because they're little kids and it just fires up adults when they read.
Is there going to be a new tax on Grandma Shearer's salty snacks or Whippets? If not, we're good.
Grandma Shearer's in relation to you, Jimmy Shearer.
Actually, yeah, Grandma Shearer is a very, very close relative of mine, and
you just fed her eggs.
Yeah. She's not in a nursing home, right?
No, she is in a nursing home, but fortunately, the power of attorney is passed to capable hands, and I can assure you that they have the best interests of the Cleveland metal and hardcore community in mind when they choose price points for their snacks. So rest assured, you will not be paying any more for any chips.
Dodged a bullet.
DefJeff, you had a story here with the news, right?
No.
God damn it! You did. You pulled me aside and told me you had a story. You had an audio cued, and then you just shit on me on the spot again. No wonder you're third mic. We're gonna move you.
No,
hey, Eric, you need a job? Oh, we need a new third mic. It doesn't pay. But...
Well, that's on par with my pay grade.
Right.
No, actually, I heard earlier today. I heard news that the Cinemark where the Joker shooting was is giving free passes to the families of the victims.
And that was in Colorado, the theater shooting.
Yeah,
because that's exactly where they want to go.
Yeah. Come on back to the movies.
Yeah, I heard.
There's a new Ice Age coming out.
I heard a comment from a parent of a woman who was killed in that shooting incident, and she basically told Cinemark and the manager to go fuck himself.
Yeah.
Which
correct answer.
Yes.
Nick, you want to talk about current events? Why don't you talk about what happened on January 1st at Christie's Cabaret?
Oh yes.
Oh wow.
The bitch took a nosedive.
Some gentleman was getting a lap dance on the second floor, and some girl tried to do some move while she was giving him the lap dance, and she fell over the railing and smashed her head in his incredible condition.
Oh my god.
Condition. She went ass over elbows over the balcony.
Well, DefJeff, we need to take up a charitable organization for this stripper. If I know who she was, we will set up a benefit for her.
Come to the hospital and tip her.
I have that information. Show prep. Lauren Block. I visited her Facebook and mocked her.
So if you want Lauren Block, if you want to either mock her or help her, get you
hot too.
Is she Christie's hot or is she hot?
She's Lido hot, but to me, any port in a storm, my friend.
It serves her right.
In Cleveland. Okay.
If she would give a couple of sneak hand jobs on the side, she wouldn't have to worry about doing these fancy bullshit flips and twirls and shit.
Over the balcony.
Come on, girls, get your priorities in order here.
Do they have to put a yellow safety line in front of the? You're gonna have to walk through the yellow lines inside Christie's now.
What's more important is, did he have to pay for the lap dance?
No, they ran.
Yeah, they up and bolted.
Yeah, they did. They took off.
That's outstanding.
Wow.
I would too.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
He's going to knock on the door in the middle of the night from OSHA.
Right,
I thought the dance was over.
I only paid her for one song. Fuck that.
She just flew off the handle and fucking took a header.
I would have gave her extra tip for fucking flying off the rail.
All right, well, this news is all good, but there's not enough witty banner in the stories that we have just talked about. So I'm going to hit the hard-hitting news source that I love to get all my stories from and all my news in general.
Here we go.
It's time for the Tustin Cleveland Huffington Post News and Review Hour. Ladies and gentlemen, we got some news from the Huffington Post. Flipping off police officers. Constitutional federal court affirms. I actually like this story.
I love that.
The federal court says that if you flick off the cop, it's not like a suspicion. They can't say that you're starting shit with them, basically. Suspicion of traffic violation or impeding criminal activity. You know, it used to be if you give any sass to a cop, they'll find some sort of charge to give to you and, just to win their argument because they're all fucking fascist pricks.
I know it. Mm-hmm.
How dare you flick them off or disagree with them in any way? Well, now you can. In a 14-page opinion, U.S. Court of Appeals for the 2nd District ruled that ancient gesture of insults is not the basis for reasonable suspicion. Now, I want to say, I like ancient gesture. So,
sounds like a band name.
now, if flicking someone off is an ancient gesture, I would think that pulling your cock out has been around as long as flipping somebody else. So are you allowed to whip your cock out at a cop now or fling your shit at? Well, I guess you can't hit him because that'd be assault. But where does it draw the line? If we've been doing it forever, if they've been ass fucking forever, can you rape a cop in the ass now? Just like the ancient Greeks. What is the ancient gesture constitute?
Well, I mean, you
I'm glad you laughed. I felt uncomfortable about that one, DefJeff.
I did too.
I can't condone that rape joke.
No.
Only because you use the word Greek.
Well, we already talked about eating dog anus. I thought we were ready for that. John Schwartz and wife Judy Mayton Schwartz sued 2 police officers who arrested Schwartz in May 2006 after he flipped off an officer who was using a radar device, blah, blah, blah. He was charged with a violation of New York's disorderly conduct statute. So he flicked off the light.
Was he actually speeding or... Oh, it was the camera.
No, I'm sorry. It was a cop doing radar and stuff, and he flipped him off.
Well, was he actually speeding?
I think he got pulled over. He was speeding. Like, you're doing 35. You're like, fuck you. Test me, asshole.
You're going too slow. So
well, I learned always to go 5 miles over. They'll think you're drunk. One of my good alcoholic friends taught me that. And I agree with it, because if you drive speed limit, cops tend to think that you're, like, hiding something. And I usually am when I'm driving. Right. So it's better that way. But the charges were dismissed, and federal judge and then granted the judgment. So the Court of Appeals basically said that, it's not, it is constitutional to flick off a cop, that it's not considered an insult or
take it, pig!
Because it's just an old gesture. It means nothing.
You ever tried to read the Bill of Rights to a cop? It's, there's a great clip you can look at. There's this activist New York City, the Reverend Billy Talon, who actually gets arrested for standing on the sidewalk shouting out the First Amendment over and over and over again.
And he gives it a line.
I've never seen that.
He receives one line and you just hear like a club whapping him.
The police knew they were being filmed, but they quietly cuff him and haul him away. And they had to let him go, obviously, but they took him downtown. This guy had been arrested many times for pulling goofy stunts. He's a great guy. And he's the leader of the Church of Stop Shopping. It's kind of an anti-consumerism crusader, and his act is this Billy Graham style persona that he puts on, and he's an amazing guy. Nobody's
what's his name, man?
The Reverend Billy Talon.
Reverend Billy Talon. Let the DefJeff go check our data files for the Reverend Billy Talon. And then another story. We're going to make this short with the news here because we got a lot to talk about with you guys here. Idaho inmates sue beer wine companies, they claim that alcohol led to their crimes. This could be a very dangerous precedent here.
Oh, wow. It's a slippery slope.
5 inmates at the Idaho State Correctional Institution are suing national beer and wine companies. So I don't know if it's one in general, like our lawsuit against beer and wine companies. I don't know if it's a specific
Idaho,
company.
So I don't think it's anybody that made Colt 45 or St. Ives.
Right.
My father's been blaming alcohol for my birth since 1960.
We might get some money for that now.
Well,
you're Exhibit A of mine, yeah.
Right.
It's a variation of the tobacco lawsuits.
Well, exactly. But these guys, I understand that, unfortunately, for the tobacco lobbyists that were suing and stuff like that, they had people with cancer and voice boxes pleading their case when it started off. People that believe that maybe alcohol ruined their life probably don't need 5 fucking prisoners that are in state prison to start this whole, patriotic cause for the rest of everybody. Actually, I had a friend years ago that wanted to sue, was literally looking into, and Aaron, you can attest to this, suing the Parma City School District because he was stupid and he dropped out. And he literally was like, him and CJ was trying to convince CJ to go along with him, my buddy Fagood. And literally had a case together how he wanted, and he explained to me how he really felt he was entitled to money because it was a school district's fault that he was an idiot and couldn't get a job.
He also fucking tied a girl to a railroad tracks around.
That story changes every time. He had a gigantic twirling mustache on his head and his piano music playing. Right. But these guys, they're suing for $1 billion. Are you serious? I can't wait till pot's legal and there's companies to sue. I didn't go to school till I was 33 years old because of you, motherfucker.
I'm suing you because I got diabetes.
He's like, $1 billion. That's what my pain's worth. Like, fuck it. This is a stupid case. You might as well aim for the stars. Elk and Elk actually.
What are those guys going to do with the money?
Oh, really?
They're going to put it all in commissary, and they're going to have the fluffiest pillows.
They're going to have all the coffee. They're just going to stock up on mounds of coffee. $1 million worth of coffee so they can trade it back. Because coffee's the new cigarettes in prison.
Oh, all right.
That's what Jimmy Sher told me. I didn't know.
Yeah, it is.
They claim that alcohol was responsible for their crimes. The civil suit alleges they were not sufficiently warned about alcohol's addictive properties. Is history not warning enough? The inmates who have not yet, they don't have an attorney. See, that's why I love coming in post. Like, I could literally just type them in, like, I've decided to run for president, I'm Nick Wolff, and there will be a story. Like, Nick Wolff has decided to run for president in the Huffington Post in a week. They have no,
Well, I mean, at least they visited the AA meetings in prison and got a different message besides you should repent. Instead, they got, we should fucking sue. This isn't our fault.
It's the look what you made me do defense.
Mm-hmm. Keith Allen Bryan, who pleaded guilty 2010 voluntary manslaughter. Sometimes you have a couple beers. Yeah. Jeremy, you're drinking what do you got, your lime?
I'm not drinking any alcohol. I have no idea what you're talking about.
That was DefJeff's, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
DefJeff.
This is DefJeff's
kind of margarita
lime. You might kill me. Yeah, your margarita lime thing. A couple more of those, you might kill me, right?
Jeff likes anything that tastes girly.
He said that at no time in my life prior to me becoming an alcoholic was I ever informed that alcohol was habit-forming and addictive. I guess that's reasonable. Let's see. So he's serving, and then Jimmy Joe Brown, 34, is serving a 30-year sentence for a 2001 shooting. I mean, he was still coherent enough to shoot a gun, so I think you got to give him, you can't be too wasted. A gun's it's a sophisticated piece of machinery.
Well, if you're going to be drinking, you got to have your gun.
Right, exactly. You got to be careful. Shit.
Come on, you know a drunk that's awesome with guns. You live with them.
Yeah, we won't get into that. Let's just say I was hoping that some sort of crap went down December 21st, because at my house, we'd be fine. Well, we'd have no food. I'd be cooked right now.
He'd probably kill you.
I would have been shot and be beaten by the family right now for New Year's. I would have been. But when it comes to fighting and stuff, we had more. If we could eat ammunition, we would be fine. We live in a compound in Lorraine, not in the city, not in the middle of Parma. But yeah, thanks, Aaron. Cool. There's gonna be ATF agents at my fucking house. Get that. We'll stay in the orbiting sphere of death. There's no jurisdiction up here, guys. In case you didn't know, we're in the orbiting sphere of death. It is a giant. We launched in Parma, and we are a satellite, just like World Class Championship Wrestling, the satellite that went over. That's pretty much what we are here.
It's about as sophisticated as
everything's done hydraulically, believe it or not. We have no other technologies, all steam and hydraulics.
Bill Mercer's in the other room.
So that's the news here. Sue the alcohol companies for being a drunk. We're safe for now from the fiscal cliff. DefJeff, I don't even remember what was your story?
Who cares?
Right. And Michael Simon, Chip Kelly, if you come here, he'll cook for you. Nick Saban, if you come to Cleveland, Nick Wolff, will cook for you on a daily basis.
I believe Jimmy Haslam will give him a lifetime supply of Flying J hot dogs. If Nick Saban comes here.
I'm sold.
So we'll be back in a minute here, Tough Scene Cleveland, with Fuck You, Pay Me, and then Steve Eggs from Zitsquatch.
Hey, brother, this is Munch. You're listening to Tough Scene Cleveland.
Tough Scene Cleveland, we are back. Nick Wolff, Jeremy Scher.
Hi there.
Drinking your soda. Dr. Pepper you got there?
Yeah, this is a Dr. Pepper.
And DefJeff.
Yo.
We're also sitting here with, you've heard the voice chime in, Eric Kinczel. Kind of just sitting and hanging out, talking some political stuff. And then, Steve Eggs. We'll get to you in a minute here, buddy, but we're going to talk to Fuck You, Pay Me. It's a new band just put together. Tony Erba, obviously, we've had him on the show. He was on our second episode ever. Great interview. Check that out. If you like this, go back and listen to it, because we talk about a lot of the beginning stuff with, I don't even remember, what was your first band? Get me started here again. I know you left, but that wasn't you, right?
Face Value, and that was.
We talked about all that early stuff with those guys and Solus and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, obviously known most predominantly for Face Value, but now you got a new band, Fuck You, Pay Me, with Aaron Dowell from every fucking band in this city. Nick Wolff band, most notably, I think, in my book. But also Amstel 11 with Tony, and you were in play a couple shows Face Value along Steve Callahan, Signal 30. You guys were all in Stepsister together.
Well, Steve just played 2 shows.
I meant Amstel 11. You guys were all in Amstel 11 together, and then you were a radio. You were on the show. We interviewed you were Radio Silence, Justin, who has a case of the shits and can't make it, right?
Has diarrhea.
That doesn't stop DefJeff from coming down. He can sit on his toilet the whole time. Jimmy, you know how far the drive is from the east side if you got to take a dump?
Fortunately, this is Parma, so it doesn't matter where I pull over and drop my pants. I'm white.
Earth is your toilet. Justin's at home working on his solo LP, Diarrhea of a Madman.
So, last time we talked, you guys were kind of gearing up for Face Value stuff. And Tony, we'll get to the history of stuff in a second, and we'll talk about, kind of the 80s and 90s music, and we'll talk some wrestling. But there's a couple things I want to bring up to you first. I kind of blindsiding you, I'll admit to that. You guys played the show with, we had JC on here from the United CLE Festival. I thought he was a good guy, and the show went pretty good. I don't know, I haven't talked to you about that. I haven't stayed here, but I've heard some kind of things that, were there some troubles there that night, or what was the whole deal with that thing going down?
Well, the main draw for that show, it was a very successful show. There was 1,000 people. The Fantasy Theater hasn't even been open in years.
Right. He did a great job. It was a packed venue from everything I've heard.
It was $28 at the door. They were not doing it. It was $28 at the door. $28, and they weren't doing a generous guest list. So as far as I know, people weren't pouring in the doors and everything. They had big hulking big black security guards, so there was no porous border, so to speak. So with that $28 at the door, say you've got say there's 1,000 people there, and out of those 1,000, 8 or 1,200 or whatever. Say, just to be conservative, say 900 of those paid at, let's just say they all bought pre-advance tickets at $25 each. How the fuck did we get $300? The Spawn Monsters get $4,000, and Mushroomhead gets $22,000.
Right. What do you think? And it kind of seems I like him a lot, but it kind of seems like there is almost like, and it's not just him, but there's a certain automatic up the assness of the same guys that have always been around. It seems like whatever Don Foose seems to do, and I love Don. I do. I like him. He's been cool. I did stand up, and he sat in the front row and fucking laughed. I like the guy. He's a cool guy.
I have no beef with Don or even.
But it seems like everything he does, it seems like there are some guys that their only palette are certain bands. The guy, Chimera, Don Foose, and Mushroomhead, and they don't seem like there's anything more than that, and they seem to kind of overlook a lot of other bands that do have history. You hear about those same guys all the time, and you don't hear so much, and I'm not just kissing your guys' ass, but people like yourself, or even a Jim Kanye, or, like other people that have done stuff. It seems like in Cleveland, we're minds wired to just like automatically always think of Don Foose, Mushroomhead, blah,
Well, the thing is they're more of like a metal scene band. They're kind of more geared towards that audience, almost like a juggalos with guitars type scene. And those guys used to open for our band when our band was around, so it made sense to have a Spud Monsters and the Face Value reunion on the same show, made for like a good pairing and would draw a lot of people, which it did. However, and I don't blame Don for getting whatever he can.
Right.
I can't blame him for getting paid. The thing is apparently certain people are so up Don's ass that they'll bend over backwards to make sure he gets taken care of, because that's an ongoing concern. His bands are always playing Peabody's.
Right. And it goes into the Peabody's
thing. Happy, but we couldn't. I had to come back the next day. I had to make another trip all the way back to Lakewood to grovel for our pittance, our 30 pieces of silver, or $300.
Right.
Spud got 4. Are you telling me that means we're a tenth of the band? We put on a tenth of the performance that the Spud Monsters did that night?
Look at the whole mindset. The whole mindset is that, even at Peabody's, they have these big shows where it's Mushroom Man, and they have other bands. They try to send to any band, like, oh, you can play for Mushroom Man. And they don't even pay attention. Maybe they have a good band already that can make money on their own and isn't just going to be a setup for Mushroom Head or whatever.
I didn't even know you guys even got paid. From what I heard, like, Foos had to like threaten the guy to even get any money.
Well, he was crying the blues to me, like, I lost. I got to sell my computer. I got to, basically,
exactly.
What the only thing I can offer that is fuck you, pay me.
And I guess that's so. Was that the kind of final? Because there seems to be a theme with this band. The name "Fuck You, Pay Me" is perfect. Was that maybe kind of the last straw? Like, it seems like almost with this band, there's kind of like an angry. Obviously, you've been angry your whole career. You kind of have a reputation for that in a way.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Check out the brains on Nick figuring this out.
But what I'm saying,
happy sounding.
Dots have been connected.
The point I'm trying to make is with this, it seems even more of like a bluster. Like, I don't know. I'm afraid to even see this band because I don't know that you just might not go fucking crazy and pull a fucking Colorado theater on our asses.
Here's the thing.
It's been long enough. I didn't say Connecticut. That would have been inappropriate.
Get the voice of reason. I
was feeling I need to explain myself to Aaron.
I think you guys should all wear those Mitt Romney masks now that they're cut rate.
No, here's the thing. The hardcore scene in Cleveland has it's going, now that's class, has, there's a whole clique of bands that happen there that I don't know anything about because I'm not 22 and don't ride a bicycle everywhere.
Right.
So good for them, but it's just not up. Where is the excitement? Where is the chaos? Where is the havoc? It's 2013, and indie rock holds sway, and people are all jibber jabbering about bands like the Village Bicycle and Herzog. Fuck that. There needs to be some danger brought back into things. There needs to be just when, basically, allow me to quote a great man who once said, "Just when you people thought you knew all the answers, I changed the questions."
Yes.
So it's time to just when the dust settled and everyone was all happy to ride their fixies to the happy dog with their scarves and their glasses and their beards. Wait a minute. Never mind. Strike that comment. Anyhow, you get the gist.
Right. You want It's these pussy hippies. You want to shit on their parade a little bit.
A lot bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Boy, we talk about shit, you really get amped up, huh, Steve?
That's a safe
Who we
word.
shitting on? Fuck, we're shit on everybody!
Did you see that new Facebook link? Like, what you could like, you know, but there's this new one. If you put the 2 dots, write poop, and the 2 dots, it comes up as a piece of poop there. I was like, what is this? So, like,
Only you would figure that out. You don't even know how to send an email.
You guys were talking about shit and poop, and I just noticed that, like, yesterday.
This guy's a genius.
No, but, like, if you don't like someone's post, you can...
Oh, really?
You can post it. It's like a little...
Put a piece of poop on it.
Oh, that's outstanding.
It's like a little piece of poop.
We've needed a dislike button for a long time.
Right.
Yeah, but instead you have
2 dots, write poop, 2 dots, and then the like little poop faces. It's stupid. Anyway, I didn't mean to throw
That's
it
good. So you were with the man, Aaron and Steve were when even Justin were last show. They were actually in face value with you for that last show, that Unite CLE show.
It was kind of a shame because that band sounded better than it has since 1991. But
what happened towards the end? I know, without going into too much, what caused kind of the end of face value?
Well, we were just doing reunion shows, and kind of then it got to the point where. First, I got the drummer bailed to join, ironically, Foos, which is fine, you know. Go fuck yourself. I mean, you know, we're cool with each other, but you know, still go fuck yourself. So then we had these reunion shows booked, and then we needed a drummer. So I called the best one I know, which was Steve, and he was all into it. So now we have Callahan.
I do the same thing whenever I need a drummer, except unlike me, he said yes to you. God, this dude for like 5 years, every time. Oh no, I've got a busy weekend this weekend. I got a big Dippin' Dots thing going on, motherfucker. I guess Tony Urban's good enough, Steve.
I played a show.
You want the Dippin' Dots for a night?
I played a show for you guys on 2 practices.
You did,
and I learned all the songs.
You did.
I greased some palms. I made him a lot of promises. So now Steve's playing drums for the band, and then I had the bright idea. I was like, I always wanted my 2 favorite guitar players I ever played with in any bands were Downtown Brown and Aaron. So I thought, man, these 2 guys would sound awesome in the band. So we got Aaron in the band on second guitar, and then the bass player who's been just a fucking wingnut, a fucking raisin cake ever since the band's inception.
And also another original member, you Downtown, and then
Tony Hinton.
Tony Hinton
and he just went off the rails after being somewhat sedate for 7 to 10 years, but you know, he's just a small town criminal element, and he went off the rails. He got big into huffing Freon and computer duster cleaner, and
Freon. That's where it's at. I mean,
apparently so. Well,
dusters for beginners. You really move up to the Freon.
He had some legal issues, and he's currently a guest of the state right now in Grafton. So
going to grad school.
Yeah. Now we needed a bass player, so we got Justin in the band. So basically, that's how Face Value came out to be, just me, Downtown, and then these guys. As good as the band sounded, we couldn't really kick that corpse anymore.
Right.
Enough.
So is that kind of start fresh with these guys?
Yeah. Why not? It sounds so good jamming together. Like, well, the reunion thing has kind of run its course, and we did the big blow off. Like the blow off to the feud was the fantasy show. Like the biggest one. It's a shame the payoff wasn't like like we'd get paid for WrestleMania. But anyhow, after that, I said we do this fucking hardcore band.
You should have taken a cue from Nails and just choked him.
I couldn't find him. I couldn't even find him after the show. I had to fucking go there the next day to beg for my 30 pieces of silver.
And guys like Aaron and Steve, I guess I ask you this question. With being on stage with him, is there like a sense of trepidation? Like, what the fuck is this asshole gonna do next? Steve, right? I mean, I saw some footage of that show.
He will never tell us what he has planned.
Look out for fireworks.
Right.
That's his thing. He never ever tells us what he has planned before shows, which is great. But terrifying at the same time.
He lit a table on fire in Peabody's.
Well, I showed some of my friends, it was a cheap tragedy show. I'm like, oh yeah, this is my buddy. And it was just one where you just set up a table, and people are running up to it, jumping into nothing. Like, they're just running up to a table, jumping on the table, and just jumping off of it. And then, showing them, everyone, what the hell are these people doing? It makes no sense. Like,
well, I never claimed that our core audience, is a group of men sisters.
Right.
I've never seen anybody incite a riot like Tony with a microphone. It's a dangerous thing.
What I'd like to say is that face value is like the Menudo of the Cleveland Underground. Like, at a certain age, you huff chemicals and disappear.
Would that make Erba the Ricky Martin of Menudo then? With the frosted tips in his hair?
More like George Lopez.
So, Tony, I want to bring up one more thing, and this is a personal thing that you and I haven't talked about. It loomed for a long time, though, and I'm going to bring it up on the air because I'm a dick like that. But years ago, we lived together, and when I moved out, I found out after a couple years went by, and I never really knew this, or I would have resolved you, and I found out recently, and I know now because I know recently you've changed your mind on it, but I believe that you thought I stole microphones from you.
I had a road case full of microphones and cables. I remember that. And I don't know where the fuck it went, so, someone took it.
Right.
And I don't know, I just choose to believe you didn't do it.
Right, and I honestly, I mean, I'm a fuck up in a lot of ways, but I've never stolen, and I've never had a microphone even more than anything.
It rankled me at the time. It was not an amicable parting. And
right.
I can't find that fucking road case. And I had like 10 microphones in there.
I have my ideas.
Who, Johnny Utah?
No, I don't know if I should say, but drummer in our band.
Dave Ryan?
If I had to put a guess on...
I don't know if Dave Ryan was over there, was he?
Only just like 2 times for just a couple minutes each time, and I saw
That's all it takes. I had no clue, like, as far as what you're talking about, I had no clue that even existed. You gotta understand, when it comes to musical gear and shit like that, like, a lot of you guys come in, you're musicians, you look at shit like, oh, that's a $150 guitar, this is that, this amp is that. I don't look at any of this shit as something that I don't want to lift or carry or fuck with at all. And I don't know how to work, and, like, it's not anything I even...
The thing is I worked hard, and I stole those microphones.
And then someone comes in and steals the whole crate wholesale like that.
Venues throughout this great United States.
But I wish you would have brought it up to me.
In the wind.
Because, it sucks. There was always something kind of weird between us. And, I've come to recently hear that you finally believe that I'm not a complete piece of shit that would lie to your face after all these years. Think you were giving me some benefit of the doubt there.
You're an incomplete piece of shit. But I choose to believe that I don't think you did that.
Yeah.
It's just one of the great...
I used to, like, wipe my ass a little bit in the morning and wipe it on your pillow, go upstairs and wipe it on your pillow every day. Never stole any microphones. I think I gave you diphtheria once. Never stole any microphones, but I'm glad
It's a great mystery, but there's been a lot of shit that just... I can't tell you how fucking exasperating
you get infuriated on friggin' the first thing in the morning, like, looking for a tape. I can imagine how infuriated you get.
It's insane to fucking look for it. Like, oh, well, I'm going to put this record on eBay. I could fire up a quick $500 from this. The record's fucking gone.
Right.
All the jabronis I let stay over the years.
Right, it sucks. And it just slowly, you don't realize it's gone until after a while you go looking for it. But I've seen you freak out. There was the one freak out when you're like fucking with tapes and stuff, and you get like the box tape things on your feet, and you're like spinning around, screaming, knocking shit over. If you know Tony Erba, you know his freakouts and his and I think I'm a pretty bad one at it, but it's some great time watching him, living with him and watching him flip out. Aaron's got some great ones.
Commit those to memory, because hey man, about 3 years ago,
I got one.
That's all a thing of the past, brother. I'm a totally zen. I'm a zen master now. I'm a cool breeze, brother.
You need to seem more laid back. I really just wanted to quick example. We're living with you. I was being intimate with my girlfriend one time, and the door opened. No, I actually had a girlfriend for a period of time when I lived there, and
I wonder why you didn't.
You're right. It didn't last long once I moved in with these with Aaron and Tony. Well, we're doing it, and door opens a little bit, and I just hear BAM! Fucking red light slamming the door. We looked at each other. We couldn't even be mad. We just started laughing like, fucking, that's what you get living in the house with Tony Erba.
I remember when he was on his little mad bomber phase.
He's like crazy. What is it? Crazy hair or Crazy Larry? Who's the dude from the Muppet Show? The Weird Larry or whatever. That's Tony Erba in a nutshell.
Right up like the Japanese take off their shoes when entering one's abode. You took off your dignity when you entered.
You never got it back.
And Steve, you go from radio silence. We have Justin as the front guy singing. singer, and he's very quiet and reserved. And so you have to make up for that with Tony Erba now. Right? You guys are playing January 22nd. And I thank you very much for agreeing to do this. I really appreciate it.
Well, we thought it was a Saturday.
There were some high-level negotiations. All the Eastern Seaboard promoters gathered together in one big conference room.
And that's just to get Aaron.
But yeah, right. You won out, my friend. You won the most favored nation status of all promoters.
Oh, I definitely appreciate that.
I was happy with payment of the bottle of Thunder.
and a wonderful surprise sprung on me tonight. I did not know how solid the bill was. I did not know that Zitsquatch were part of this whole thing.
Yes.
I talked to Poopy today.
I needed something to put it over the edge. I was like, this is a good show, but it's not. There's something. There needs to be that, the star on top of the Christmas tree or the icing on the cake.
It's good, but it's not Tough Scene Cleveland.
Right. And we've been doing some negotiations, and dealing with this guy is not easy. You talk about negotiations. Getting Steve to commit to do anything at a certain time is pretty much impossible.
You're talking about a man who leads a charmed life.
He does. I mean, there could be a zombie prom going on that he needs to be at right now. There's many things, big wheel races that need to be won. He's a champion big wheel racer. So this is a busy man.
His Star Wars cards in the basement. I mean, there's a lot. This man's got his fingers in many different pies.
So we managed to make the stars align, and Zitsquatch will be doing their first show also. So I really I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be fun. It's better than having Steve's and Julie's do another show for me.
Who is Steve's and Julie's?
They're a great band, actually, but it's every show I book, they're end up being on.
You know what it is?
It's in Chicago.
Yeah, in Chicago, that's what they call jocks and chachas or whatever. A bunch of Steve's and Julie's.
But this is Cleveland.
Yeah, well, kids when they're 22 think every other city in the world's cooler for
Are they from Chicago?
No, they're from Cleveland. It's the Amish go through that. What's that called when they're teenagers? Rumspringa.
Right.
It's like if you go through a Rumspringa where you like New York and Chicago and you think Cleveland sucks. Once you get over 30, you become like us, where I don't want to leave anywhere, so I'm just gonna put up my hometown so I don't have to do anything.
Chicago's the city that every hot girl goes to and has a guy that she bangs in Chicago.
Right.
It seems like there's always every girl goes to Chicago.
Unlike Miami, where every girl goes to have an abortion. So it's going to be a great night. Steve,
yes.
I guess we'll do a duel. There's no need to break it up. This can be
right.
How did this come? You guys have been together for about a year now. I think the first time we had you on the show, it was our first episode.
And Zitsquatch just came out, I think, right at that time.
Right. You put out 3 recordings since then. 2. Well, you got a third one.
Third one's recorded. I haven't heard it yet.
All right. So you guys just did that a while, but we're getting 3 recordings in a year.
Plus a 7-inch came out.
So, and I have other friends, bands that have been together 8 years and they're still working on their debut album. So you guys definitely, it's efficient. What's up, you guys go there and jam and record it, right?
I go to Matt's house. And then we just go right down in the basement. He's got a nice little setup, and he's got an ADAT recorder thing, and he's got all this recording gear because he does probably 5-10 other bands too that he's been doing for
Dr.
a long
Bitch,
time.
Matt Lindsay,
yeah.
Right.
Known for Sockeye probably being
bigger time band,
one of the bigger ones,
and he's done
Young Boys in Love.
Boys in Love, and he's done a whole bunch of other bands, and he's doing a solo project thing. So he has the recording thing down. So we go down and we just record live, just straight live, and he has it all hooked up. And then sometimes we actually come up with a riff, then press record. And then we go back and listen to it, and we both add vocals on top of it, and we just have fun and laugh at each other and stuff. It's good. It's we only do it for an hour, and then it's over.
It is fun. I think you guys kind of sold out as your albums. There's only for 3 minutes. The first one, what was it? It was 15 songs, 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Now your song's a minute long, and they're epics, 45 seconds.
Yeah.
You're curtailing to media standards, and I don't like that. I always thought you were a visionary. But if you're gonna go be a sellout and record 15 minutes of stuff, come on, man.
Well, this is coming on hot on the heels of the historic Nut Screamer appearances this summer.
Right.
I think I had a couple.
I gotta say, Sheer, you'll attest to this. First time probably one of the first times you actually met Steve.
Yeah, was when he was doing Nut Screamer, and
is this at Mayhall's?
At Mayhall's, yeah. And,
loved it.
And then, it was cool. People were like, it was like the comedians going. There wasn't a packed room, and people were being laughing, and there was like jokes. But it was. Well, I'm sorry. I say a lot of words, so it comes out stupid sometimes. But everyone was kind of reserved. It was a respectful kind of crowd. And this Mania comes on, and there's about a minute of just silence, like crickets. And then all of a sudden, it's like Reefer Madness when the dude's playing the piano, everyone's going nuts. It just erupts into insanity. Like with Cheech and Chong, when they go in, the pot comes coming through the vents, and they start rocking Eric My Eye. That's exactly what it was. And this dude's pulling. It's like, and there's no act. He comes out, and he stumbles around, and he messes with like lights, sets up boxes on the stage. Like, hold on a second, I gotta set this up. Yeah, this is called puking on my dick. And whips his dick out, he starts puking up blood on it. He does another one where he takes a Star Wars towel, he's fucking with it. He's like, people are laughing, he's like, this is stupid, why are you laughing? This isn't even funny, I'm an idiot.
I knew I was gonna do the gargling blood routine, and I didn't want to get the floor all dirty, so I put the Star Wars towel down on the ground. That was the funniest thing in the world. That I was just putting a towel on the ground, and everyone's laughing.
And you get up and jump on it.
I jumped on it because they started laughing, and then when they laughed after I jumped on it, I'm like, well, I'll do it again if you think it's funny.
You don't understand. Comics are fucking bent. We think the dumbest shit is hilarious.
I just thought it was nice to do my act in front of a room of people that didn't know who I was, because whenever I do it, it's like at a metal show or some noise event, and people kind of know who I am and what I'm going to do. These people had no...
It was cool seeing people that had no reaction, like, holy shit, what is this meaning?
It's like seeing a monkey ride a bicycle. The monkey has no idea what he's doing, but we think it's
and that is the great thing about Steve Eggs, is that he doesn't try at all. He just kind of goes out there with no idea what he's doing, and something magical usually happens. If stupidity and ridiculous bullshit is considered magical.
The best part of that night is there were a bunch of people there to see Emily Davis, who is like she's bringing in like the upper crust of hipster society to come see her. They gotta watch this motherfucker puke on his dick, and it was great. It was a magical night.
So all you vegans up at Now That's Class for Tuesday night vegan menu, January 22nd might be in for a little bit of a shock to your system with Steve.
Yeah, let's weigh the entertainment. Hipsters, man pukes on dick. I go with the puke cock every time.
All right, Tough Scene Cleveland. We're going to be back in a minute. We're going to take a quick break here. We'll be back with more Fuck You Pay Me, Steve Eggs from Nut Screamer, and Eric Kinczel, as well as Nick Wolff, Jeremy Shearer, and DefJeff.
We'll be back.
Tough Scene Cleveland, available on YouTube, Ustream, Facebook, and now Aircheck US.
Who does the drums for your new band?
Me.
Yeah. Oh, you do the drums. Do you have a big or small set? Small set, big set?
Yeah, it's a little 4-piece kit.
My buddy in Zitsquatch asked me if he can use someone's drums. Is that news?
Anytime I've let people use any of my stuff, something's been broken.
Okay, so I told him, I'm like,
the Kanye clause is not operative.
Right. I just, because we have a small little set too, and it's not hard to move because I got a station wagon, and I told him if we can't use the other band's drums, then I'll totally move the drums the whole night. I'll move them out of the house, into the club, out of the club, back in the house.
Here's a novel idea.
I don't mind moving drums.
Here's a novel idea. Band books a show. Band brings their equipment. Bands don't like to do that. That's the Kanye clause. He doesn't like to bring his drums.
Okay. I felt uncomfortable asking, but I just thought it was like a... I didn't mean for it to be rude or anything.
You're an asshole.
No.
And I actually really have no opinion because I don't play the drums. But
right. Neither do I. Right.
We always end up being the nice guys, and it's like it's getting old.
Yeah,
obviously,
Erba's sick of being the nice guy.
It's a different red I said, I don't think so.
It's a different
tired of being in the face, goddammit.
I asked him if he wanted to play, and so I was just letting you know.
All right, you can't use the fucking drum.
If it's guitar gear, like a...
Right, I got your back. I don't want it. I don't want to be spurred over.
Hey, we got our drums at the show tonight. Drums are, for some reason, I decided to pick up the most expensive fucking instrument in the world to maintain. Cymbals that are like fucking $200 a pop. Ridiculous. For something that you're going to beat the shit out of with a piece of wood.
All right, let me get started here.
Fuck you.
Tough Scene Cleveland, we're back. Nick Wolff, Jeremy Shear.
Oh, we are back.
DefJeff.
Oh my God.
Steve Callahan was getting pretty riled up on the break. He's in another room breaking stuff down the orchestra. DefJeff, I think he's our energy cores. You better watch out.
Temporary energy source.
He'll get
Where's Space
radiated
Dog
and turn
during
into a
all this?
Hulk-like monster.
Or
The gay Hulk. Can we like the pink Hulk?
That was that wasn't even Grey Hulk. That was.
We're back here with Fuck You Pay Me. Steve Eggs from Zitsquatch. I got confused. I almost said Nut Screamer, and then I was thinking Pile of Eggs.
Here's the great part, Nick. That whole thing was just recorded.
We'll put that together. We'll do an auto-tune song out of that.
Can I borrow your truck?
We'll be on Tosh.0 in no time. And Eric Kinczel's sitting here with us, and we're talking about bands and stuff, but January 22nd, Night of Icons, Fuck You Pay Me, Zitsquatch, The Dead Enders, Dr. Andy Meredith, John Hoffner, Dan Brown, T.M. Francis, and Jesse Allison, as well as myself, Jeremy Shear, and DefJeff doing the podcast at Now That's Class. So we're talking about that stuff, but real quick, guys, I want to talk. It was a big weekend here. Django Unchained came out, and I know some of you guys have seen the movie. I can't wait to see it. There's a couple things you look forward to. You know, since 1997, when we all realized that George Lucas was out of his mind and there'll never be a good Star Wars, the only thing you really have to look forward to, and all the disappointments that come out every year, is that every once in a while Quentin Tarantino will put a movie out. Did this movie live up to the hype?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're happy to ruin it for you.
Yeah, no, go ahead. We like spoiling everything. I gave away the end of Game of Thrones season 1, like right before the last episode. So, no, we're all about spoilers here. If you listen to this show, we will ruin everything for you.
Nick gave away the entire series of Game of Thrones before it was even on TV.
I'm going to do Walking Dead graphic novel by graphic novel and just ruin that for everybody.
What's his ass left? Walking Dead, Glenn Mazzara. He got fired today.
Who's Glenn Mazzara?
He's the
showrunner,
guy that writes the show.
Runner? Wow.
The guy that replaced Frank Durbin.
Wow. It seems to be there seems to be a lot of turnover there in that.
Kurt Sutter blasted him on Twitter about it, too.
Really?
Like, for firing him, just called them all a bunch of AMC, a bunch of cunts.
It seems like with the company that they're happy. I mean, even with them getting rid of Frank Darabont the way they did, I don't know. There's for such a successful show, it seems like there's that one little crack in the armor with that. But Django Unchained, I heard that the previews are good, but obviously you can't really get a feel for a Quentin Tarantino movie with the previews at all. Aaron was telling me there's a couple of people in the movie that are like Samuel L. Jackson. I didn't even know he was in the movie. I guess amazing.
Dude steals the movie. His character.
His fucking awesome. Tom Wolpat's in the movie.
Yeah, Tom Wolff. Yeah, right.
Bruce Dern.
Yeah,
Don Johnson.
And he's great for doing. I mean, Quentin Tarantino is great for doing those kind of guys that have a name, are known for certain things, but don't have huge mainstream names, and kind of bringing them back.
Jonah Hill played the frickin' founder of the Ku Klux Klan.
That's always good on the resume.
Yeah.
He didn't get killed by Chalky White, though, did he?
No.
Wrong show. Yeah, I'm kidding. Boardwalk Empire confused.
Well, let me offer my take on this, because I've been a spaghetti western fetishist since I was a knee-high to a June bug. The big criticism that Tarantino gets...
Those are very Dusty Rhodes like... knee-high to June bug! Or Jim Ross.
What's next? You're going to get funky like a monkey?
I will. The Tower of Power, too sweet to be sour. The big criticism that Tarantino gets is that all the stuff that's in his films is ripped off from obscure films that Generation X kids have never seen. And I'm guilty of that. I didn't have high hopes for this movie, but I was dead wrong. This is an awesome movie. I saw it. I went back and saw it again the next day, and I never go to see a movie in the theater. What Tarantino has done with this, he's taken the genre of the spaghetti western, and let me back up a little bit. I think, this is my opinion, I think the best spaghetti western ever made was Sergio Leone's Once Upon a Time in the West, with Charles Bronson and Henry Fonda as the main players in this. What Leone had done in that film is he had set it in the time of where the American West was no more, and this was kind of a epitaph to the West. The railroads had reached the Pacific. the Indians had been run off.
Right, it was a last gasp
civilization
kind of look on
was
it.
coming to the West, and things were never going to be the same again. And the characters that were in that film were throwbacks. Their time had come and gone, and now they're people without a climate. But you have to remember that the spaghetti Western is always stylized, so they're presenting a picture of the American West that never really existed to begin with.
Right.
What Tarantino had done is he kind of flipped that whole thing over and started at the beginning of this time period, the pre-Civil War era. You don't have a protagonist who's the white guy who's fighting for truth, justice, in the American way. He's a guy, the Jamie Foxx character is a slave he starts off with, and I don't want to give away the movie too much.
It's vengeful. It seemed to me like a vengeful kind of character, more along the lines of your Beatrix Kiddo, or some of those other archetypes that Quentin Tarantino has invented. He's always there always kind of is that subcontext, at least a lot of just of that kind of revenge and that kind of hero that's out for his own virtues and morals, and isn't your wearing white good guy.
Exactly. Well, with the Christopher Waltz character takes Django, and there's a lot of symbolism in this because it's like I said, you flip this over and you take it at the beginning of this period in American history, and it's a sign of things to come. That we know how all this plays out. That black folks are no longer going to be slaves. It's going to take them 100 years to get their rights.
Steve Callahan just rolled his eyes. I saw that.
But again, you've got an antagonist like Leone had in Henry Fonda, who's as big as it got in 1968. Right. And you've got Leonardo DiCaprio, who's the main
right.
And in the good guy or the hero, there really are no good guys in the spaghetti. That's another theme.
Right.
A big star, the way Charles Bronson was back then with Leone's film. One other thing is the original Django, Franco Nero from the Corbucci film Django in 1960.
So there is some sort of source this is based off of?
No. What happened is...
Is it like Inglourious Basterds where there was a movie kind of like it, but it's not anything...
Sure. Well, what he does is what Leone had done in Once Upon a Time in the West is he pays homage to the American Western. So he uses things and themes that were in the John Ford and the Howard Hawks movies of the 40s and 50s. And what Tarantino does is he does the same sort of thing with the Leone and the Corbucci and the Sergio Solima films of the 60s and 70s.
Okay.
Now, this would be lost on somebody who's not a fanatic about spaghetti
you're
westerns.
kind of into
I am.
I like Caddyshack. That was cool.
It's getting a little long, music.
It's like Stevie Wonder at the Grammys.
I was a big fan of Erba Golden Retriever.
We can't all talk about feces and Steve Exbar and drum kits the whole time.
Leone's films were an influence on a lot of things, and you can take screenshots from Leone films and you can side them up with like the desert scenes in Good, the Bad, and the Ugly and the desert scenes in Star Wars, and they're almost identical.
Right.
So you get that feeling that you've been there before.
And he's one that everything he does is definitely a true. He's probably of most directors one that's so you could see the influence and different movies. He pays homage to different, the things that have come before him. He's like the ultimate kind of geek director. Somebody that just really truly does have love for the source material he grew up on and what he's doing.
Exactly.
And, that's why he's always successful. That's why his movies are always great. Let's ask you guys real quick. What is your favorite Quentin Tarantino movie? If you want to go around.
Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown, and that's kind of a weird one because that's one that's most people don't say that as their favorite, but it's definitely cool, and it's another one where he takes like a genre and kind of shows the end of it. He kind of takes that blaxploitation, shows like the after effects 15 years later of like those kind of movies.
Plus, it's a Elmore Leonard script, so I mean, the guy Elmore Leonard's amazing. Yeah. So,
I wouldn't say that he 100% did this movie, but
Steve doesn't even know who Quentin Tarantino is.
In the movie, and it's called Planet Terror, and I've watched that like 100 times. I don't know if
the zombie movie.
Yeah, right. I love it. I love that movie.
I thought he was gonna say 4 Rooms.
Tarantino did the other movie that
was with
Right.
them.
Right.
Death Proof, yeah.
Right.
But they both
Robert
worked
Rodriguez
together.
are kind of
connected to those both of them. I went to the
Planet
movies and
Terror's
seen
awesome.
that, you know, and yeah, that. I like the trailers they had for that.
In between
yeah,
stuff.
that's great.
The machete trailer and all that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd
Thanksgiving.
have to say Pulp Fiction. I mean, you can't really beat it.
I mean, that is.
Yeah.
I mean,
I really like the Kill Bill movies.
I gotta say, I don't know if you count it. It's a movie he wrote, but True Romance is my favorite movie of all time. Clarence Worley is one of my favorite fucking characters of all time.
You're an eggplant.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that is one of the best scenes.
I forget he does that.
Movie scenes. I mean,
I
that
believe
scene
that was
with
the
Hopper.
first script he ever sold. Was that
Really? Was that before the? Because I know he sold National Born Killers, but then they totally Oliver Stone totally raped it, and I know he's been pretty outspoken about it.
I gotta say, in my opinion, this is the best film he's ever made.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Because, I mean, like I say, he pays tribute to Sam Peckinpah, Leone, Sergio Corbucci. The music in the film is taken from a lot of the spaghetti films, like the They Call Me Trinity theme.
All
is the way
this
they close the
music
beginning.
they
use the
movie
original
sometimes.
Django song from Corbucci's Django. And the title as well, Django, because when Corbucci's film came out, it was a big hit in Europe. That film was never released in the United States until recent years. What happened in the Italian film business at the time is if you had a hit film, then all these other production companies would rush in and make some type of knockoff. In the 50s, the Hercules Steve Reeves movie was a big hit, and then you had all these like gladiator films that were coming out of there.
You like gladiator?
It was like with with like Transformers in the '80s. You had GoBots, and you had like the Value Mart ones that didn't even have a name. It was like Robot Truck. I'm a robot truck. And Motorcycle Villain. They're gonna fight.
So as a result of this, when Django was a hit, there were all these Django films with Django in the title that had nothing to do with Franco Nero or Corbucci or the original film. But you put Django in the title, people say, "Oh, let's go see the Django flick."
I got you.
You have to keep in mind that in Italy and in most of Europe in the 60s, people didn't have televisions; they went to the movies.
Right. Yeah, like we did in the 20s, because we're a good half a century above the rest of the world. Thank you.
What was yours, Tony? Yeah. Your favorite
Pulp Fiction, without
Pulp
saying.
Fiction. Okay,
Let me. Here's an interesting bit of tie-in. I'm going to on Monday when I'll be in LA because the NWA World Champion is a traveling champion. Anywho, I'm going to hook up with my friend Todd and this chick I know that he knows actually. I've only met her a few times, but she played the waitress in the opening scene in Reservoir Dogs, and she has a turntable that's like a $10,000 turntable that Tarantino gave her because he for his movies he insisted that all the vintage classic spaghetti western soundtrack music that he uses it had to be ripped from the vinyl. So he after doing Reservoir Dogs, he gave her that turntable.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Isn't that crazy?
That's friggin' awesome. I'm kind of thinking here too, and maybe because I'm obsessed with it. But you say like all that kind of like Quentin Tarantino's whole mindset with like using music and from the period and the whole idea of paying homage to something. It almost kind of strikes me like Sopranos is almost a TV version of that, as far as kind of looking back at gangster movies and then being at the tail end of it. And I don't know, maybe I don't know. This has nothing to do with anything, but I was just kind of thinking like that from what you were describing as like the tenets of like a spaghetti western kind of feel. And now I'm kind of looking at Sopranos a lot different now, and I'm thinking about it in my head like there's a lot of influence from that and that show that I'm kind of
and writers and directors they try not to be obvious about it, but they like to breed that familiarity to draw you in.
Right.
And it's it's definitely something like if you're like the westerns, even the American ones, the big shootout, because you always have to have a big shootout at the end of a western.
Right.
I mean, it's done in the style that the end of the Wild Bunch, Sam Peckinpah's Wild Bunch, where you just have this slow motion, distended gunfire and blood squibs.
Everyone, I'm sure, is coming out in gallons.
And the bodies
Tarantino.
pile up, and it is just so over the top.
Not quite dead guys screaming.
Right, exactly.
What would you say he was paying homage with Jamie Foxx's upside down naked leathery ball bag?
If you've ever wondered what the underside of Fox's nuts look like, you're going to find out.
And that's the perfect conclusion of Tough Scene Cleveland film. This has been an introspective look on film. We'll be doing this 3-part series. But no, so that's Django Unchained. Sound great. Thank you very much for that insight. Actually, it'll kind of, when I watch it now, it'll kind of change the way I look at it.
When did the ball bag get shown?
Yeah,
So I know.
sure wants to just get that scene.
I want to know when to get my cell phone camera out.
Ball bag.
Yeah. Well, did you see him laying upside when he's chained upside down and the guy has a burning hot knife on his ball sack? At the time.
There's two warnings that you need to know about. The ball bag, which is totally unnecessary. I thought.
Yeah,
and it was on the screen for way too long.
He could have backed the camera up a couple feet, but I think that was a style choice.
Just ball bag though. He doesn't hang dong, right?
No.
I'm telling you, the thing looked
butt sex? Is there any butt sex in it?
If you're going to have a castration scene, you got to have a ball
You
bag.
gotta have it right.
And what
it
was
looked
it?
like a kickball
110 was
rolled
that the
in
count?
his guitar.
Something like that.
Yeah.
110 N-bombs.
N-bomb count I think is 110.
And I see.
But after the first 30, you kind of don't even hear it
Right,
anymore.
it just
blends into the
That's
dialogue.
That's like
It's like,
I think maybe
it's
that's
like
what he
my
was going
Christmas
for.
at my family's house. You
Yeah,
just hear
right.
the N-bomb just used so much.
That's I ride with Black Comics. That's like one car ride to Toledo. For me.
Right, and
That's just band practice for us.
There's frequent use of the word nigger, and it's not gratuitous. It's
accurate.
What else? That's what they would have said. That was done with slavery.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's one thing he never skimps out on his accuracy.
So,
well, I don't say about that because again, you talk about what I said before. You present a picture of the American West that never really existed. So there's things in that film that don't jive historically.
Right, they're more based out of an idealistic.
It's 1858, and they have dynamite, but dynamite hadn't been invented until 1967, and it was invented in Europe.
You got to have explosions in a movie,
of course. But like I said,
saw a movie about the Wrath of the Titans. They had dynamite in it.
There's guns that hadn't been manufactured.
Right.
That's par for the
Pulls on
course.
AK, yeah.
But that's also normal for a spaghetti western for those things.
Right.
I've seen spaghettis where a guy had a German MG42 that hadn't been. It's called the 42 because it was first produced in 1942.
It was weird when Django was texting, though. Let's be honest.
So let's move to the band stuff now. So with Fuck You Pay Me, you guys, how is this just like a show? I mean, what is the plan for this band?
World domination.
World domination.
Taking the belts back to the corner of State and Pleasant Valley where they belong. Breaking backs and making people humble.
So it's gonna be like the Freebirds, kind of going from place to place
old country style. You're on #1 USA touring.
I think another part of it is there's a lot of young bands that they think that they are owning everything, and it's kind of nice to maybe get back there and show them that they don't.
Right.
It's time to get out the hair cream. The
concept is, whenever we feel like it, we could be in old folks' home, fucking slurping starch through a straw, and I could just make a few. Dial a few digits, and we could just walk right back in there and take what's rightfully ours whenever we want.
It's musical terrorism, and with the Nick Wolff band, I've always kind of tried to do that. Like, the band may not be together, but whenever you can just put people on edge, because you could just show up at any time. I find it's the only true way to have an outlook to have on music. It's just to have breed that sense of terror, and that's what you guys are looking for. So the next time there's a band with white belts doing the thrash with their guitar and all that kind of stuff, they have to look over their shoulders, and maybe Fuck You Pay Me will be there.
And we're infiltrating.
With the chain, are you getting the giant chain?
The lottery league. We're infiltrating all.
What's going on with that? I heard the fix is in, and I might have something to do with that. We need to get this together because I want to ruin somebody's fun like you guys do. I want to tell a story real quick. And we've talked about this a couple of times. Aaron, you tell the story. You know where I'm going.
When they did like a, what was it, a pinata or something? Did they I don't remember.
You hit the pinata.
Yeah, I hit the pinata, but was your name in the pinata? But anyways, your name got called, and you were like the surprise guest, and some band already had like 4 or 5 people in it, and so they're like, the surprise ad is Tony Erba, and like you expect everyone's gonna clap, but there's like a couple scattered. No, I'm just kidding. But then afterwards, he's standing there talking. It's like this girl just comes up to I just had to be standing next to Tony when this happened, and so he's meeting with all the people that are in the band, and there was this girl. It just didn't look like she'd be in a band with you. No. There's no other way to put it.
Any girl? She looked like a female?
Yeah, any girl.
It looked like she wouldn't even be in line behind him at the bank.
No, exactly. And she goes, I've been thinking of I think I have the band name. I want to call the band, what was it?
Red Resonant Skywalker.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean?
She says Red Resonant Skywalker. And they didn't really say anything. And Tony just goes, I think we're going to call the band Stopper. My mom will queef. And he's like, he lets out this huge cat, just laugh. And the guys in the band were like, they start laughing. And the girl, literally, her mouth went. I mean, she just didn't. It was not
Which is great because we're on radio. And
well,
whatever. Her mouth open.
It was so funny. She did not find it funny. And she literally.
Well, it's a rare taste. Not too many people.
Horrified.
It's an acquired taste, Tony Erba, and his comedic sensibilities.
But it's the best was as soon as he said it, he just starts laughing.
That's
so
the famous
funny.
Tony Erba cackle.
And you guys,
I got a big pop when my name was announced. I heard a few sighs.
And Steve and Aaron, you guys are all in, right? To go down with this ship to just go down swinging.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah.
Go down swinging. Go down on your sister.
It'll
What's
be
the
fun.
difference?
And
it's fast. It's loud.
I heard it's definitely more of like a
pretty.
thrashy kind of metally kind of thrashy music.
I wouldn't say metally, but it's down-tuned, so it's more sinister.
All right.
Yeah.
Almost like the current crop of hardcore bands that are very influenced by Discharge and a slight metal influence.
How many shows have you played?
None.
Okay, cool.
Not this is your first show, Steve. That's why I said that several times.
This is our debut.
So it's their debut and of course the debut of Zitsquatch.
Okay, I thought you played.
It's gonna be like the the Shockmaster's debut.
We're just trying to do it like fast too. I think the time actually spent together in the room writing music and playing might come out to about maybe 13, 14 hours
10.
so far in total. And
Well, I think
we got, 9 songs already?
With all you guys you play together, and you guys are all definitely at the instruments you play are very good.
Well, and that was the whole
so at
idea
least-
is we wanted to write the songs fast.
But it's got to be easy, right? Oh, it's got to be pretty easy. You guys probably have an edge when it comes to just knowing each other and kind of...
Yeah, we all know each other's style.
yeah.
We play off each other.
The point is we're not
talk like retards.
We're not trying to. It's not like we're writing the most primitive shit that you can imagine, but at the same time, it's like we're not going to try to overanalyze anything. Just write something ripping that's catchy. I'll invent the backups, and there we go. We're not going to spend a million hours trying to write fucking Stairway to Heaven.
Right. And
method.
Yeah.
In that same mode of...
Do it live!
In that same mode of thinking, Zitsquatch, you're kind of a bit like that, right? You don't spend a lot of time writing the songs.
Well, we're not even in practice for the show. I have no clue what's going to happen.
Do you have a set like
no set list,
The instrumentalist in the band is named Poopy.
Well, no, he plays drums. Are you playing guitar?
Yeah, I'll be playing guitar.
You're playing guitar?
Yeah.
Do you know how to play guitar?
I've been playing guitar since 19.
I'm fucking let down. I was hoping you didn't know how to play at all.
I try not to. I try not to play. It's not in tune, so it's not, I don't know how to tune.
Like the Flaskrats, I was expecting to hear the worst band ever, which I wanted to, just based on what I heard about you guys, like a guitar player with one hand. And Nick playing bass, who does not know how to play bass. I'm like, stop. I don't want to know anymore. You already described the greatest thing I've ever done.
By
But it
playing
was
bass,
really good.
he had it on and was just screaming. That was playing bass.
But it was really good.
I rise to the occasion. I am a man that's gifted in many things. I don't even know how... I don't try anything, so I don't know how great I am at it. But I bet you if I tried to do anything, I'd be great at it. But I'm a lazy stoner, and all I'm good at is talking into a microphone. So I could be a great basketball player.
White men can't jump.
A cage fighter. And nothing sensible like, a janitor or something. I'm going right to the... I can be an astronaut. But,
A janitor at NASA.
So, January 22nd is what we're talking about, Night of Icons. All you great people here listening to our podcast, please come out. Have a great time with us. Be part of our audience.
Free.
It's free. Thank you. Jeremy Shearer, thank you.
Good call.
And you'll be able to get a copy of Jeremy Shearer's Trigger Warning, right?
Trigger Warning, the debut DVD. That should be done by the time the Night of Icons comes around. And all the proceeds from Trigger Warning are going to Tough Scene Cleveland. So
he is a generous man.
He's paying himself.
I'll have free. Is
any prostitute over on Cedar will tell you he is Jeremy Shearer is very nothing if not generous.
I always tip them with something besides the STDs.
Speaking of generosity, we were originally slated to have our debut show be at the Tony Urso benefit, which is happening on I think it's January.
It's February.
No, that's the one where we are playing. There's two of them. But the first one we were supposed to play is it. Now that's class when I'll be in California. But if any of you people that listen to the podcast feel inclined to support a good cause, there's this guy Tony Urso who was in a band called Starvation Army who has cancer, and we were going to play his benefit. And that's happening on Now That's Class.
That brings back some memories. Starvation Army in their heyday was one of the best punk bands in this town.
Right, definitely. Still loom, they kind of still loom over. You still hear about them, and that's so definitely, support that, help the guy out. We got to look after each other. The guys, there's a lot of people in this city have been doing it for a long time, and they're not millionaires by any means. They just do it because they love it, and a lot of us can build our childhoods off of the work that some of these guys done. So, it comes time where you kind of got to, help out at the end and look after each other. And now, because listening to this show, you think it's all about throwing people under the bus and shitting on any band that's not your own. But,
it's not.
Somewhere we got to help each other out.
Let's not lose sight of the vision quest.
Right. So, real quick, I don't remember, we talked about, Steve, you got anything big you're into?
I'm gonna go see Texas Chainsaw Massacre tonight.
So, that's tonight you're going.
Yeah, it's midnight showing. I got my tickets and stuff. They got actual Texas Chainsaw 3D glasses. I'm gonna see it in 3D too. So I'm excited.
Are you gonna keep the 3D glasses? You're not.
Yeah, I'm not gonna trade them back. Yeah,
are you bringing your own 3D glasses? Or
no, I went ahead and bought the 3D glasses tonight.
Are you going to pay for a cheaper film?
No, I
go in to see that.
No, it's midnight. It's not going to be the only movie playing there tonight.
I went and saw Avengers with him, and I'm not like a movie sneaker guy. I'm afraid of that stuff.
I got the biggest fight I ever got in with my former girlfriend about sneaking into a movie, and I got so mad.
I've been doing it for years.
I threw my car keys in the snow and walked home from a fucking Cinemark. You showed her. Yeah, that's right. And by in the snow, you mean out of the car. You stopped on the highway and threw the snow on the side of the road. Not the snow in the parking lot.
Rationality is not your strong suit sometimes.
No, it's ridiculous.
But he's like jumping theater to stand in the hallway, and I'm like, dude, let's just find a theater to stay with. Like, I'm gonna go through the theater to see which one's playing, and I'm like shitting myself. Like, we're gonna get thrown out. They're gonna call the cops because I'm not cool like that. I'm terrified when it comes to I'm terrified when it comes to any minimal crime.
To tell you, we went to see Goon. It was showing one weekend only out there.
That was
and I went to see it. I sit down. There's 6 people in the whole theater. I get a text from Erba, hey, I'm here, come on, look for me in the theater. Guy walks in, I didn't pay, fuck it. I just walked right in, he owns the place.
Right, yeah.
And I find that if you act like you're supposed to be somewhere 99% of the time, nobody
That's true. Right. A lot of times with shows, if you just act like you just don't pay any attention and walk right past them, I found that's worked a lot, where they just assume you're supposed to be there.
Right.
It works everywhere but the fantasy.
Yeah, no, you go through a metal detector and everything else. Grabs your balls.
9 giant black guy security cards it. Totally don't need to be there.
Yeah.
Well, when you have a drug dealer running a club...
Allegedly. Okay, not allegedly.
Not allegedly.
No, not at all.
There's no legend there.
She got banged by a ghost, too, didn't she?
What?
We talked last time. Carla from Orbs.
I've witnessed the ghost.
It is funny. We had Carla from Orbs. He said it's pretty fucking haunted. He's a ghost hunter, dude, and he had crazy experiences there. But so you're getting ready for...
But there were a lot of...
Yeah, and he finances his ghost hunting through the drug trade, or...
This is so They did a thing at the Fantasy. Yeah, he doesn't own the Fantasy. The Fantasy are rat people that live by. The place makes no money, but they water down the drinks so much, and they're able to get 16-year-olds to play the Symposium still. So that's how they make their fucking money.
I once witnessed the old man
drugs
pour
from decent people.
Oh, sorry. I once witnessed the old man pour cheap fucking drug mart vodka into the Absolute bottle in the kitchen there. I swear to God.
I believe it. I've watched him do it. The whole fucking family, they're all rats. The whole family's a
They're a rat family. They're Morlocks.
They're fucking Morlocks.
I said before, they live under the stairs, someone rings a bell, they
Generally, I'd be upset about burning a future bridge, but not in this case.
Yeah. And remember back in the day, there used to be a security guard. He was this big dude, and he had a black curly mullet, and he wore like camouflage pants, and he'd stand in front of the stage, and I'm doing it. He'd stick his ass out in your face, and wedge himself in the stage, like, what the? There'd be 4 people there, and he'd like, what the hell is wrong with this dude?
You know, it's a shame, too, because that venue was the fucking, it was the hot shit back in the 80s.
Yeah, in the 80s, and then that period of time in the 90s, too.
Absolutely. First club show I ever went to was Anthrax and Raven, 1984, upstairs at that place. And I saw a lot of great bands there.
A ton.
Yeah, that's where I learned my Schnauzer.
I saw Exodus.
Yeah, Schnauzer definitely had there.
I saw Exodus,
at least 10, 15 times.
Yeah, I saw Exodus there. That was their second Cleveland show, by the way.
Yeah, because they opened for Slayer.
Because they for Slayer and Venom earlier that year.
My first show was there, and actually Kerry King from Slayer was there. The first show he played there.
That's right, because he was dating some girl.
Yeah, I was like, we're sitting there like, wait, what the fuck? Kerry King from Slayer. I had no idea who the hell he was, to be honest. I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. Who the fuck's Kerry King? Is that chick over there? Like, no,
our band was playing, and CJ was like, does Kerry King want to come up on stage and play a song? He said into the mic, and Kerry King was just standing there like this.
That's so funny.
Then they were gone shortly after that.
Actually, Chris Smith from Keel Hall and False Hope and a million other bands, he sued Michelle DeFrasia and won because in '89 there was a huge local show. It was False Hope, Integrity, Outface, and Face Value. It was the biggest show they had, a total sellout. And there was a fight that happened outside the club, and Michelle tried to say, well, it was your patrons who caused the damage because they own all those storefronts. And they went through whoever was fighting went through the window of one of the storefronts. And she said, well, it was your crowd, so we hold the bands responsible.
Wait a second. They're responsible for everything that happens on the sidewalk in Lakewood?
Well, obviously Chris Smith was like,
I can't get into that.
So we sued her, and it went to court, and we fucking a bunch of different people had to go down and be witnesses, and he got paid.
Fuck you, pay me.
Yeah, that's the kind of fucking rat family they are.
Yeah, there's I mean, they definitely don't have a high esteem in this city, and that place is still there for some reason, but
it's tried to burn down a couple times.
I can't even read. When I try to read the fantasy upcoming shows, the bands are so ridiculous that they're not even English. It's like it's gibberish shit like DJ Uzi Y, GGYC. Like, what the hell? That's not even bands.
They do a lot of rap there now, too.
Yeah, is that what it is?
I think that's what it is.
I don't understand that crap. Gucci Mane.
And it probably still says Johnny Mohawk and the Assassins in the
Well, the Chamber floated that place for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, in the 90s, that was definitely their bread and butter, was the goth night and all that kind of shit.
Scott Dolan's doing?
Yeah, he's the DJ. The original drummer of Face Value is DJ Scotty D.
No.
Spinning all your top hits.
So
as I barf.
Yeah, I know. I'm about to throw up on the microphone here.
He didn't barf on his cock.
So, and I guess real quick before we wrap it up here, we got to talk some wrestling, right? I just kind of want to get you guys' opinion. And I know, there seems to be with the indies seem to be doing a lot better nowadays, and I think it probably has something to do with guys like Daniel Bryan and CM Punk kind of giving that mainstream appeal. Do you guys see that? Do you guys go? I mean, I know, Tony, you definitely do. Eric, I don't know much about you, but
if it happened after 2002, I haven't seen it.
And that's kind of how I was too. I was definitely a lot more into it. The ECW days, we went to Cleveland All Pro. Back when JT was still around and running that. But I hear AIW is doing some good stuff. And I think it comes a lot from the head from the WWE, and I gotta say, I really love, for the first time since WWE's been the main power of wrestling, I actually really do love what they're doing. I love some of the guys that they're giving spotlight to, guys like CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, some of the Damian Sandow, who's friggin' amazing.
It's definitely going a bit more. They're going towards more of an in-ring product than they have been going before.
Right.
They're having
You have
longer, 2 commercial break matches.
It's like putting the in-ring product together with guys that have good gimmicks and good wrestling things. So I gotta look at Alberto Del Rio, Dolph Ziggler, and Damian Sandow are guys that are all throwbacks to 80s kind of guys almost, but they wrestle
they're not great characters.
Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart kind of 90s guys, in that kind of mold. And I think that's such a amazing to me, I think it's the best it's been as far as being able to tune around and see a good match for once, which it ever was, and not having that second or third promotion, because TNA doesn't count. TNA's terrible.
Awful.
Right?
Unwatchable.
Have anyone tried to even watch TNA?
Not since the first time I saw them try to change it into a cinema camera feel and have Hulk Hogan try to electrocute somebody. It was all right.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, and they've got a lot of great
they got
young
good
talent
there too, but they manage to somehow shit the bed every
It just
week.
comes off as so hokey and forced and just... Man, all you really need to do is, for one thing, I don't think wrestling, besides the WWE, which by now is so entrenched and such a, it'd be hard to see that going totally under, because that is
right. It's not even wrestling anymore.
Vince is here to stay. That's a given.
I don't think any other wrestling promotion can ever make it go again, because no one will ever. You can't do fucking wild and bloody or strong style wrestling because of MMA. The cat's out of the bag, and no one will buy it. It used to be that had MMA and maybe the internet and smart fans not come along, you could always make a go of having good, like what ECW did, have a building that has a gritty feel to it. Put a couple cameras in, have great storylines, great characters, and believable work rate.
But now you say that environment's more towards the real fighting kind of aspect.
Right.
Like that lies there now.
Like that are going to watch MMA.
Exactly.
So it's done.
A good match, like say a Mexican lucha match or a Japanese style match, where you're going to see guys take it to the mat and go back and forth and trade holds. You haven't seen that in the WWE for a long time, and it's never going to be in the forefront for that product.
And even when they were running that, I mean, when you had Rob Van Dam and Sabu there at the top, Rob Van Dam wasn't having the matches he was having.
That's right. And by the time they make it to the big dance, they've already killed themselves on the indies for 15 years. Exactly. So they're a shell of what they were in the tape collector.
And that's the WWE style, is formatting your stuff and condensing it so that you have longer longevity. Rey Mysterio, we've seen him do way more stuff than he does in the ring, that he's done in the WWE ring for the last 10 years. 619 was a setup move. That's not a finishing move. Right. But, that's the master being a WWE wrestler, is to streamline what you do into, a certain clusters of things.
No more 5 finishes a match.
Right.
You have to take your thing and boil it down to a 4-minute match, where in other promotions it would be a 14, 17-minute match. And you're not seeing these guys at their best by the time they get there.
No, they can't even get into a flow of telling a story.
Tony and I used to road trip to Philly for the ECW TV tapings, and those were some of the best matches I've ever seen.
It was just like going back and seeing wrestling in the Omni in 1979.
Right.
That feel, the electricity.
Yeah,
I mean, people lined up outside this ghetto bingo hall, just fucking. I mean, it was so electric.
There was a
and
buzz in the
so
air.
awesome.
There really was in that place, and I never thought that I would be the kind of person that would get swept up into some kind of angry mob mentality. But man, when I was in that place, I was screaming for blood.
We were there that the lights went down in the ECW arena.
That's true.
And when they came up, Sabu was in the ring answering the challenge. And let me tell you, I've never heard a pop in my life like that. I thought the roof was going to come off the place.
That was insane.
Were fucking people were, if they fucking had infants in their arms, they would have thrown them in the ring. It was,
and the bumps that they were taking were clearly insane. It's like, you guys, I know you guys aren't getting paid top dollar. What the fuck?
These guys wouldn't be in the business. I mean, you're talking guys like New Jack and Axl Rotten and stuff like that. They weren't going to be in the business unless they did stuff like that. That was their chance.
Yeah, that was the only way, and that was the Mick Foley school. Yeah. If I've got a bumping for dollars, was to get noticed. But I saw things in one night. I mean, in just one card that just blew me away. We were sitting there watching. Remember the tag match was Douglas and Brian Lee against Dreamer
and
Funk.
Funk, yeah.
Right.
53-year-old Terry Funk doing a moonsault into the crowd.
Oh, no, wait, that wasn't even the worst thing he did. Shane Douglas had him on the ring apron with a table off to the side, pile drives him through the table onto a concrete floor. There's no mat there, all right? And I'm like, holy fuck, he's going to kill this old man. And the guy was laid out, and you could tell he was seeing stars. I mean, the guy had to be blacked out because he was out on his feet.
He wasn't even calling anyone a son of a bitch for a second.
Remember when Dreamer took the TV cameraman, the guy filming? He took the camera and just
I gotta tell you, even later on when they were doing like touring, you know, in I'd say '98, I went to see him at the Agora, and Aaron was sitting next to him. We had a moment.
Awesome.
There was a Dudley Boys match, and they stopped. He's hitting Balls Mahoney with a chair, and I'm cheering them. It was right when they left, and they did their promo saying "Fuck you, Vince McMahon's our savior."
You talk about the heat machine.
Amazing, and everyone's booing them. But the whole time I was cheering them, and I'm like, yeah. And just every time I'm cheering everything they do, and I'm just screaming something about Balls Mahoney. And Bubba just looks at me and gives me the eyes.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Whips the chair at me, and it lands, I'd say, 2 inches from the top of, we're in the front row of the guardrail, and bounces off. And it was, Aaron and my mother just looked at me like, holy shit.
And I know what that feeling is like, because Tony and I had the distinction of having Bubba and Devon grab our signs and rip them apart in front of our face.
Wedge was like, put it down, put it down. I had a sign that said, Bubba Booey.
And I had said,
check that fucking sign, he ripped it.
I had a sign that said, JY Devon.
Yeah, you get your ass kicked, sir. They will come with difference.
Face to face with this guy, and I said, "Well, I better play this up." And I'm like, "You're done. You're going down. The gangsters are killing you tonight." Da 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 da. Wedge, in the meantime, is literally pissing his pants. You know, so he's like tugging on our shirts, going, "You better back up. You better back up."
Steve Eggs, what do you think about ECW? Did you even know it existed?
Don't know nothing about any wrestling.
A man of your standing in this community, a man of charisma, of panache, and you don't know wrestling.
Well, there's a whole world of craziness that you have not been
open
to.
Wrestling, you know all about that.
It's a fatal character.
Right, no. I'm talking like maybe I can name some old school characters like Coco Beware or something crazy, you know, like I have the '80s stuff, you know, or something like that. But I never followed it. I was more of a nerd, you know.
Yeah, because wrestling fans are nerds.
Not a bit.
In a public forum like this, I feel that I probably should bring this up. I don't know if you've heard this, but
is this an exclusive? Or
I've heard that there's a Steve Stanley sex tape floating around.
Oh, we're gonna get into this.
More than a couple.
All right, this has been.
There's like
I've
4
heard
or
that
5.
your crank is like a baby's form. Like Granny Smith apple. Can you confirm?
I'll show it off. That's why there's
wants to see it.
That's why there's porn.
Steve is a lower down
No, it got ripped off. It got stolen by Howard Stern.
Kanye is obsessed with it.
Howard Stern.
Yeah, Howard Stern stole my porn.
What's this? Wait, tell me this part.
Hold on.
Hang on.
I went to New York City to see Private Parts with my buddies, and I didn't have a ticket. And there was a first showing for VIP. David Lee Roth was there, and Donald Trump was coming in. We were kind of like there on the streets of New York checking the people go in. And my buddies had tickets for like fans and stuff, the second showing. We didn't have tickets. And the show was starting, everyone was going in, this whole plaza, and everyone went in, and me and my buddy are walking out, and this dude's like, I got 2 extra tickets. And people were trying to buy tickets for like $100. And we're like, well, let's go walk the city. This dude gave us 2 tickets. We walked right into Madison Square Garden.
No way.
Walked right in.
That's awesome.
Had a backpack on my back. We get in, we sit down, whatever. As we're walking out of the movie theater, I'm like, I got my video camera. Yeah. How'd you like the movie? What'd you think of the movie? You know, this is world premiere.
Now he's getting free. He smuggles a camera in too.
Right. I got it for free, and now I'm smuggling a camera in, and I'm like, what's
there a Stern screamer tape with you screaming at a Stern movie?
and as I'm walking through, asking people, what'd you think of the movie? Security was on me within 30 seconds. Give me your bag. They threw me in this back room. And I'm like, can I please keep my camera? And I didn't videotape none of the movie or nothing. There's nothing on the camera. And my porn was in the bag that I made with this chick. I lost it.
Really? What chick?
Why were you carrying your own porn?
She's dead. There was still room on the tape.
Was she dead at the time of filming?
You never know when you need your sex tape. It's like a resume or a business card. You always want to have it just in case you got to make an introduction.
Yeah, I was in New York. I might, someone might need to.
That's an outstanding story.
Yeah. So
But what about the other ones? You said there's several.
Right. Oh yeah. There's a couple other ones. I made just some of my own
jacking off most
my
of
own
the
jerk
time.
off porn, and it's called dick tape because it was on a VHS. and Kanye would be like, "Hey, you got that tape?
Yeah, specifically.
You got that tape?" And it got known as dick tape.
And Kanye was obsessed with your dick tape.
And he wanted to see it because one time Dora put it in. He goes, "What the fuck is this?" So Dora told Kanye, so he found out about it. You know, Dora didn't know he was putting the dick tape in. I'm on TV squeezing my sack. You know.
Can you give the people at home? How can we order this?
Well, I was handing them out at Cinema Wasteland for a while.
You just have to go to somewhere that has horror movie, like a horror movie convention or somewhere with zombies, and you'll see Steve Eggs handed with a box. If you see a zombie walking around with a box of tapes, you can purchase a dick tape from Steve Eggs.
I gotta get dick tape.
No dick tape. Well, it's now Dick DVD.
Well,
right. Dick Blu-ray. Dick Ray will be the next one.
I don't give a fuck if it's Dick Vader. I need it.
You get Steve's dick in high definition.
There's a old Nut Screamer song.
Is there gonna be a 3D dick
There's
tape?
an old Nut Screamer song on the old MySpace page, on the old MySpace, and there's
I'll get right on that.
And there's a song called "Ignorant Immigrant," and it's me doing Zeppelin at the karaoke bar, ruining it.
So you're doing Immigrant song by Led Zeppelin.
I'm doing
right?
an immigrant song. It's called "Ignorant Immigrant." And the name on my name to go do it, he goes, "Okay, coming up next is Dick Tape." And I go up and do it. It's totally stupid.
So it'll be Zitsquatch featuring Dick Tape on January 22nd, Night of Icons. Tough Scene Cleveland, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and wrap this fucking thing up. We'll be back.
Dick Tape.
I'm just going to start back again. All right, Tough Scene Cleveland, here we are. We're finishing up here. Nick Wolff, Jeremy Shearer.
Hi there.
DefJeff.
Yo.
And we're in here. We just got done talking about Dick Tape. We're here with Dick Tape from Zitsquatch. This is Steve's name. Tony, Aaron, and Steve from Fuck You Pay Me, and Eric Kinczel. And yeah, we've had a great night talking about
dumb shit.
Yeah, a lot of dumb shit. Movies, dick tapes. Just really, it's been an assortment of things. We had wrestling, bands. It's been a great night. I don't know why we waited so. See, I knew I had to get into you. Like, we couldn't just end the show and not get to Steve. I knew there was some nugget. So getting back though, we kind of get the real. Did Howard Stern himself did not confiscate?
No, it was at the Howard Stern.
But you think it might have gotten to him? Maybe
Who
Robin
knows?
Quivers.
I said, I'm like, there's porn on here. Like, I wanted to keep it. I'm like, please.
Wait a minute.
That's copyrighted material.
Are you talking on the dick tape?
Talking?
Is your voice on the...
No, we made a whole scene out of it. We made it like a cheesy
this explains
porn
everything.
movie.
Robin Quivers got her hand on your dick tape, and that is what made her eventually gravitate towards fucking Jim Florentine.
Did Jim Florentine think
She
Steve
fucked Jim
Eggs?
Florentine?
Oh,
She
yeah.
used to, yeah.
Really?
Well, that was weird. I heard him like, what?
It's a talking dick tape, so you put those
Yeah.
paste on Google eyes on your dick. And then
Steve Eggs and dick. Hi, Jim Kanye. I'm Pete. So Jim Kanye has a copy, right? And he won't give it back. That's what I wanted to get to.
I think some girl got it, and she gave it to Jim, I heard.
Why is he obsessed with your crank?
I don't know if he's into I don't know. He's
let me tell you
Well,
something.
he watched me one night because there's a hole in my wall, and I had this chick over, and so he knew.
I know.
Back in the day,
He
before the dick tape.
Let me tell you something. While you lived at the State House Apartments in 1987, I had this chick named Tara. Was one of my first real fucking girlfriends. She's a total fucking fluff fucking hair metal chick. And Kanye would fucking like beg me to leave the Venetian blinds open. And he would ride his fucking bike up, stash it on the floor, and he'd fucking hide in the shrubbery and look through the fucking Venetian blinds. That
How the fuck does he hide?
How did that guy blend in anywhere?
Yeah.
1987 was a great fucking year, by the way.
He wasn't watching Tara, the fluff hair metal chick. He was watching my fucking.
He was watching your puckered butthole.
I was in a fucking.
He thought it was the funniest thing, and he would tell everybody, "Yeah, Steve was doing this chick." And he got kind of tired, and he put his head down on the pillow as she was blowing him. And the way, he kept describing the scene and stuff.
Oh my God! He did to your dick tape what Eric Kinczel did to Django Unchained. You really got to the heart of it.
Here's a critical analysis of how he fucks.
I've been in several Japanese bathhouses with that man. Let me tell you something. He looked a little too long and a little too hard at my gear. I gotta tell him, eyes on the road, pal.
So you're going on the record saying Kanye's a pecker checker.
These are the opinions of the guests of Tough Scene Cleveland and not Tough Scene Cleveland itself. We don't know for sure that Jim Kanye is a fag. That is Steve Eggs and Tony Erba implying that.
All I'm saying is Aaron's the one who said he saw his truck outside the manhole. No. Didn't you say you saw his truck outside of or did maybe I said that?
No, wait a minute, that was me.
So, and Jim Kanye is the most talked about person on this show that I've never had on the show. He comes up in every episode at least some point.
It's like on Seinfeld, Kramer's friend, what's his name? Bob something?
What do you say? I'll score a major coup, and I'll just tell you I have a top secret guest. I can't disclose anything, and I'll bring him down here.
If I would have put the effort to want to talk to him for more than 10 seconds, it would be okay.
It's this fight of people who maybe are not from this area or who've listened to this show. They must think he's like fucking Kaiser Sose or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Just type his name in YouTube and watch any of his.
Yeah, if you don't know who Jim Kanye is, he's drummer / singer of the real singer of Schnauzer, not that idiot that jumps around ripping up stuffed animals and bell bottoms.
He's probably got a video of him, like reaction video of him watching the dick tape.
He does commentary out. It's like him watching a Steelers game.
So they had the 2 Girls 1 Cup people taping their reaction to that. He's got his reaction to watching that.
Yeah, and his reaction would be like, dude, it's meant.
Speaking of Jim, I'm holding up.
Why aren't you wearing your Steelers shirt?
A Minch reunion.
Oh,
yeah, that would be something.
It's really hard to get a washing machine in the club up the stairs.
I'm telling you,
not too many places.
You can't even carry drums, so there's no hope for a washing machine.
There was talk about it once, a couple times. Jim was going to do that once a couple times.
Never formed. But you have to get to get all the pieces together for such a.
It has to be his show, his call, his time, his thing.
See, I could see him with like a strobe tuner on his washing machine, getting it just right.
like Trucker Norm, I've been up the highways and byways of America with that man.
So. Coming up here, before we wrap, I want to go over a couple shows that are happening in the city. January 5th in Balmer, playing at the Hewlett, which is the Spitfire, and for once a month they fucking sell out and have to actually make money in their bar and have people in their bar by booking metal bands.
I hear the club's for sale.
Fucking capitalists.
Yeah, you heard correctly.
Has been trying to sell the Spitfire since he bought it.
2 years.
Oh, so that's not breaking.
I mean, there's a point where Phil was really close. Phil at one point was talking about buying it just so I could have a place to hang out and book shit.
Who's Phil?
You know, Evil Phil. Philera. But Sasha's totally like, yeah, I hope this guy's stupid enough to buy my club.
Nick Suma talked to him about it too. But
Yeah.
Nick's smart enough not to buy it.
Right.
It's on their website. They have the asking price and say it's non-negotiable unless you want to pay more.
Right.
So,
Do they have the after the car drove through the front of the building?
I don't think so. I don't think
Does it
Stash
come
is
with the
open
beer
up as anymore.
bazooka, right? Or does he Stash take that?
No,
if
it
he
doesn't
sells?
say. It doesn't say it's
comes with
all inclusive. The big selling point is practice space that brings in this much rent a month. So.
Right. So that would be, and that's Steve. That's your buddy Paul. His first show as vocalist, right?
I think it's a second gig.
Second,
now.
okay.
Yeah.
So that's at the Hewlett. The Gluttons are playing with Ohio Civil War and Tinko Friday, January 11th at the Beachland. At Peabody's, The Long Came the Spider CD release. I'm sure you guys going to be at that one. Everybody going to that one?
It's funny that you say that because the one kid that's in that band, he's a bartender at the BW3 in Rocky River.
Yeah.
And we would go there
Is he
at
a
lunch
dude,
sometimes. And man, we stopped going there because just.
Dude, my bass player hooked up with my
It's like, shut up, you idiot.
We call those Dude Men, right, Steve?
Right.
The song Dude Man.
Right, exactly.
And yeah, so always those guys, they're always waiters and bartenders. Dude, you come there, you're gonna fire me on my show. And they just can't shut up about their band that nobody gives a fuck about. But so if you want to go see some band called Long Came a Spider, they're at Peabody's. It was all the other great stuff that Peabody's books on a regular basis. I'm sure there's a Juggalo show too.
Hopefully along will come a snowstorm.
Do you guys have any? Are there any? Fuck you, pay me. You guys, is there anything else on the books for?
Yeah,
kids?
February 15th we're playing another one of those Tony Urso benefits at the Grog Shop, and the next night we'll be at Annabelle's in Akron.
Oh, okay, great.
I think Schnauzer's playing at the hall at Hewlett on the 25th, a couple days after this show.
You gonna do it?
I think I am.
Is there any talk when you do a show? You just like if you show up, you show up.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, if
does Kanye even talk to you? Like, even acknowledge your existence?
This is big news, though, because this is like a return to the fold, isn't it? Weren't you excommunicated from the Hive for a while?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and he welcomed me back, and I was like, cool, man, I'll do it. And then they played a couple more shows without me.
You guys sat
so
down
whenever he wants
together,
me,
and now
he'll ask me.
So you
I'll
weren't
ask him if it's okay.
Is it kind of like the Mushroom Head where they do the old school shows?
Maybe I don't know. No,
Schnauzer where they do the
we just played a show at Pat's.
Oh, you were at the Pat's and
the Flats, and I think he kind of likes having me there so that he can rip on me. I mean, it's cool.
By the way, I'm sorry.
Like, we have DefJeff on the show.
No, it's cool. I don't mind hanging out with the guys and getting stupid. It's a fun time.
Yeah.
The only thing I get out of it is having a good time. It's
right.
Not like I'm trying
why do it if you're having a good time?
Right, exactly. So,
Mr. Shear, anything coming up?
Next Thursday, the 10th. Which I don't know when this is going up, but
we won't have it up by then. Just let me. You guys have anything in March? we actually air this.
Well, I mean, assuming that I do well on the 10th, I'm at a contest at the Blind Pig on West 6th. That's Thursday nights. First week I'm with Mark Colella, Aaron Larson, Rodescu Hopkins, and a bunch of other people I like. Dave Flint. I can't remember the whole list, but I'm on that, and then. Of course, on the 22nd. The following day at the Spitfire, though, after the Night of Icons, I'm doing a longer set opening up for John Pridmore, who's one of my favorite comics from Pittsburgh, and that is also at Now That's Class, except that is not free. So if you don't want to pay anything to come see me, the night to come is the 22nd.
Right, that's
the Night
the
of
value
Icons.
night.
That's value night.
I mean, you're going to get Jeremy Shearer, you're going to get Andy Meredith, you're going to get T.M. Francis, you're going to get possibly Jesse Ellison, John Hoffner, Dan Brown. Fuck you, pay me. Zitsquatch? I mean, shit! And then we're throwing the Dead Enders on. I'm like a QVC guy. I can't believe the deal. For $19.95, we'll even throw in the Dead Enders. Come to CJ's Beard and everything. It's going to be great. So,
I'll have free CDs, too. Passing them out. Free.
So you'll have,
have the
Zitsquatch CDs available?
For free.
Yeah, will you have the dick tape?
Yeah, will there be a comes with
Maybe I'll bring some dick tapes.
Bring the dick tape. I'm sure you will.
Put it on the big screen. That's why I did it. I
Let's
like
see
seeing
what
my
sells
shit.
more, trigger warning or dick tape.
Yeah. Oh my god, if I get outsold by dick tape, I'm quitting.
Your dick.
This could be the night of dick tape. Should I change the name of it?
Will you perform your Adam Lanza tribute? Too soon.
Way too soon. And not to get on the gun thing, because that's been beaten down in the past 2 weeks, but I just think it's funny that you have to go through more of a process to buy Sudafed in this country. But if you want to buy a pallet full of ammo, you can just go to PayPal and have it delivered to your house.
Yeah, literally.
Well, if you want to get methamphetamines, all you have to do is go on the Silk Road. This is bullshit. You're just lazy if you're going through multiple steps to get your drugs.
Right.
Well, I don't know. I think it shows a little gumption if you're going to do it yourself.
That's true. So, DIY meth tastes better than Silk Road meth.
Right.
You heard it here first.
Recipe. Don't go to those guys.
So it's been a great show. Thank you guys, everybody. Any final words?
Yeah, don't cross the streams.
Yeah, that's right. That's one of the feature pieces here in our gallery in the Orchestra of Death. We have the real Ghostbusters house encased in an orb. We have the Shark Tank, CJ's beard, Sassy Stephanie's brassiere. It's like Batman's gallery.
I like that
here.
Sassy Stephanie. I'll tell you that.
So, I guess, January 22nd is our last show. The next time you'll see us. January 22nd, come out, the Knowledge Class, Tuesday night. It's going to be a quick thing. We're not going to be there all night. We're doing the podcast at 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. We're going to start off right away. A couple comedians, get the bands rolling. Comedian band. By 11, really, that's kind of what I'm looking for, you guys to kind of go on around and start wrapping this thing up. It's going to be a quick night. Come out, have a good time, have a couple drinks. It's not a big deal. It's free. Come out and maybe get yourself a copy of Trigger Warning, a dick tape. It's going to be a great night. So thank you, everybody. We will see you at Now's Class January 22nd for Fuck You Pay Me, Zitsquatch, and for Eric Kinczel. I had to get your name right.
I don't have anything planned.
You know nothing going on? No, no plugs?
I'm a shut-in.
Eric Kinczel will be hanging out in his house.
Watching spaghetti.
Watching spaghetti
westerns. And maybe taking in another screening of Django at a certain point.
Probably Tuesday, actually.
Actually, we do have something coming up.
What's that?
Right around the corner will be the 4th annual Punk Rock
Dodgeball.
Dodgeball.
Punk Rock! How can we forget Punk Rock Dodgeball?
We are the esteemed commentators for Punk Rock Dodgeball.
So sign up,
at
kids.
the Homodome, aka Nuts Class.
Yeah, the epic
and we will
Homodome.
be crowning the new MVP. We'll be getting the Dick Fagler Award again, and I again will personally put up the was it $10 last time?
$5 American.
I thought it was $10. Okay, $5 for the MVP. That doesn't motivate you enough.
That's good stuff.
That's better than free. And we might even have a trophy this time.
Possibly, if I can find the old bowling trophy.
So, great night for all at the Homodome. Punk Rock Dodgeball. You guys will be commentating it. What night is that, or is that even happening?
It's TBA, isn't it?
Come on down to the night of Icons. Like Tim Misney, we'll make you pay.
All right, well, Tufts in Cleveland. Have a good night.
I gotta get the scale out of the car.
Oh, okay,
I should wait until you turn the microphone.
We'll leave it in.